Good morning, everybody. We are just letting all of you into our webinar this morning, so I won't say too much until everybody's on board. I'm in sunny Warwickshire. Well, Warwickshire, not so sunny, but I decided we needed a summer theme this morning. Sam is carefully working my slides. Thank you, Sam. Take a little look at the chats. Good morning from sunny Scotland. Oh, we should be in Scotland. It's raining here in the northeast. Oh, come to Warwickshire. Good morning, good morning. Loads on the chats this morning. Okay, I think, oh no, there's still some people logging in, I can see. Good morning from Portugal. Send us your weather rapidly. Good morning from rainy Cork. Oh, some Irish people on Kilkenny. Fantastic. Good morning, raining here in Ingleby, Barwick, North East England. Well, cloudy Hertfordshire, you can see behind it's a cloudy Warwickshire. Grey Cheltenham. Can hear the birds, good, they're behind me. It's not like a sound effect, they are genuine. Aldreth, Cambridgeshire, Mumbai, India, oh my gosh, we've got loads on this morning. Also not so sunny Warwickshire. Sunny in Scotland, beautiful. Kilsby, Warwickshire, Melton Mowbray, send us a pork pie, South Wales, Poole and Bournemouth, Wales, cloudy London. It sounds like, where's that? Oh, 38 degrees, Portugal. Wexford, beautiful. Dublin, beautiful. Wiltshire, love it. Paris, Swansea, we have an international audience this morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Excellence webinar. As you can see, I am outdoors. I am determined to do most of my work when I can from the garden because it is summer. And if I stood up, I actually have my shorts on and I've lived in my shorts for a few weeks and I'm loving it. What I'm loving is that we can still be building our business, contacting people, sharing our products and sharing our story working from home. And not only have we proven that we can survive working through the lockdown, but we can thrive. And I'm going to share with you in a second our sales figures since the lockdown, because it's been an amazing, amazing time. So welcome to all of you. We have a great lineup of speakers today for our Excellence webinar. Our host is Chris Goldsborough, who I'm going to introduce to you in a moment. And I hope that wherever you are safe, healthy. I hope you're feeling positive about the future. I can tell you that across our industry, people are describing this as the golden age. More and more people looking to get more security over their future, be healthy, be able to work from home and avoid the commutes that some people are now faced with going back to as we exit the COVID-19 lockdown. We are still, for the most part, business-wise, operationally working from home quite successfully. We are working on getting back to Longbridge Manor, our beautiful office in Warwickshire, in the next few weeks. But at the moment, still from home. And I have to tell you that we've learned a lot about our business working from home. Working closely with you, our business owners, what we've determined is we can successfully share our products with people. I've heard some amazing stories in the last few weeks of people doing product launches, doing all sorts of different ways of sharing the product with people and having amazing results. So this is absolutely the business to be in. When I look back to my time in Forever Living, I joined in 1994 as a business owner, became the country manager in 1999. So over 26 years with Forever. I could never have imagined all those years ago that it would be possible to successfully build a home-based business literally without leaving home. But more and more are proving that it's possible to do that. The whole industry is booming at the moment. It's a great time to be sharing with people how they can build a business from home. Now that business might be people who literally want to create an extra £200, £300, £400 a month working from home on a very part-time basis, or people who are looking to literally move careers. Maybe they're concerned about going back to work in terms of not liking the idea of the commute. Maybe they're concerned about going back to work because they really don't like answering to their boss. maybe they're just concerned that things like this may happen again in the future. And actually, life is very insecure and very fragile. However, if you are in control of your financial future, it's obviously more secure. And that's where we are right now. So, Sam, if I could have my first slide, I'd love to share with all of you out there today how we've done since the lockdown. So we're looking at a slide at the moment that talks about the sales, and we're showing a 10% increase since the lockdown compared to the same period in 2019. But what's interesting about our sales are that in the last month or two, they've gathered momentum. And you can see that June versus June 2019, a 40% increase. Now, for me, watching a little bit of television, I'll try and not watch too much, but Sky News or whatever, you know, most of the planet is going backwards. And our industry, and particularly Forever Living, because of the amazing products we have, is absolutely going forward. So 40% increase in June. It looks like similar numbers in July. We are absolutely in momentum. So if you're on our webinar this morning, and this is the first time you've being involved in anything to do with Forever Living, you are absolutely in the right space. What I would encourage you to do, those of you on the webinar this morning that are new to Forever, is to absolutely engage in all the webinars that we're doing. Learn as quickly as you can the things that you need to learn in order to be confident and build your belief about our business. And for me, I think there are 4 areas in which we need to build belief if we're to be successful, not just in Forever, but in life. The first one is whatever it is that we're selling or marketing, we need to believe in that. So in the case of Forever, you really need to absorb the idea of the products, engage with the products, use everything that you can in our product range. One of the first tips that I was given when I joined Forever in 1994 was to go around my entire house with a black bin liner, take anything off the shelf that Forever has an alternative for, and put the Forever product on the shelf. Take the black bin liner and put it, I think, under my stairs. My sponsor said to me, lock it under your stairs. And if in 2 months' time, you're not convinced that the products you changed were better, then take the ones out the black bin liner. I'm not sure they're still in the bin liner now because I've moved house a few times since then. But the point is, you need to become a product of the product. And the best way to do that is to use the product each day yourself. I can honestly say that whoever I come into contact with, if they comment on my skin or my health, or just comment generally on their well-being, I'll say, you know what, look after your health, look after your immune system, look after how you look and feel, and that way you will have a healthy, long life. And our products can do that for you. The second area in which you need to build belief is, of course, Forever. You know, everybody on the webinar today has got a different journey with Forever, but I'm going to introduce you in a second to our MC for the day, who has been in Forever not quite as long as me, but nearly as long as me. And I can promise you that when we all started in Forever, we were skeptical. Is this company for real? Is the product for real? Can I do this? The only way that you will ever build belief in anything is to be absorbed with it long enough to either recognize it's not for you or recognize that really this is absolutely genuine. And so I would encourage you, we have no physical meetings at the moment. You can't meet us in person, which is a great shame. I missed that. But involve yourself with all of the webinars that are going on. Learn about the business, learn about the industry, begin to learn about Forever Living. It has a massively long history, a great track record, a blueprint you can run on. The third thing to build belief in is our industry. We are still pioneers in the network marketing industry, or the MLM industry. Some people are negative about our industry, which is really, really sad. I really wish they took the time to genuinely understand our industry. Does everybody who joins our industry make money? No, of course they don't. But for the most part, often when they don't, it's because they didn't put enough effort into our industry. We have an industry that anybody in the country can easily join, and that's fantastic for the times that we find ourselves in. However, if you opened a corner shop, if you opened any conventional business, you wouldn't be surprised that if you didn't open the doors every day, you weren't making money. People, for some reason, when they join our industry, imagine that money will flow through the door because they're in business for themselves. That's not how it's going to work. You need to be out there. You need to be a brand ambassador for yourself. you need to be promoting what you've joined, you need to be promoting the products and the business. And if you do that, you will be successful. There's no shortcuts, but over time you will begin to learn the genuine nature of our business. We are an opportunity for anybody and everybody, where ordinary people can do extraordinary things, and you're going to meet a lot of them on our webinar today. And the fourth area of belief is in ourselves. You know, we all join with doubts and fears. You know, the more we focus on building our own self-confidence, our belief, our personal identity, our own brand, the more successful we will be. So I know very many of you on the call this morning, on the webinar this morning, are in the gym, you go for bike rides, you jog, you do all the things to keep a physical well-being. Very many of you on the call this morning are conscious about what you eat so that you stay healthy. Absolutely fantastic too. And I would, you know, condone all of those activities. I would say, however, focus on what goes on between your ears too, because our mental health, our positive mental attitude are the keys to building anything successful in life, whether it's a relationship or whether it's a business. So 4 areas to focus on to build your personal belief in what you're doing. And if you do that, and then the activity every day, I can promise you forever will deliver. So you can see the sales are great. Sam, let's have our next slide. Let's talk about how we are doing in terms of encouraging people to join our business. And on the slide now, we have the recruitment. You can see that the numbers of people wanting to have their own home-based business, wanting to be entrepreneurs, has increased by 60% since the lockdown. Now, for me, looking at the numbers every day, it's been really interesting, because when we first went into lockdown, I could see immediately that people were buying more of our product. You know, they wanted to stay healthy. It's very important that we focus on staying healthy, that our immune system is strong, that we do good things to, you know, make ourselves in the healthy category. And then as we came into April and May, I could see immediately, sorry, somebody's flying their plane over my head. I thought everybody was grounded today, but no, they're there. You could see in April and May that people began to realize that, you know, there's a lot of insecurity in the world, and actually having something for myself gives me more security. And so we've seen through May and June a massive increase in the number of people joining Forever Living. Many of you on the call today know that I sit on the board of the Direct Selling Association. We're very proud to be members of that association, and being on the virtual board meetings that we have now, I can tell you that the whole industry is absolutely buoyant at the moment. More and more people wanting more control over their time. Let's face it, here we are in Warwickshire from the garden, no office, and also their financial future. And so this is a great, great place to be. You can see as we move down the slide here, however, what's happened as time's gone by. In June, a 240% increase in the number of people who've joined our business this June compared to June 2019. I can tell you, speaking to our leaders each day, speaking to many of you each day, actually, you know, every activity you do at the moment, there are lots and lots of people who want to listen to and hear about how they can get into business for themselves and change their financial future and change their future in terms of how they conduct their lives each day. So a really, really exciting time. I want to congratulate and thank all of you who have helped us in the last few months. Well done. I love seeing your success, looking at the numbers each month of how you're doing, looking at the numbers of people who are moving through the marketing plan and securing their future more fully is so, so rewarding. So thank you for all that you do to make us great. We have recently launched a new product, and that's what I want to finish on. Sam, if I can have the last slide for me this morning, please. And that's our hydrating serum. For those of you who've been around for a while, this was a key product for us. We had to reformulate it because of all sorts of different reasons, but we wanted to make it better more than anything else and to fit in our range. And it's just been launched. We're into our first month. We saw phenomenal sales of hydrating serum in the first month. Everybody I'm speaking to is saying this is fantastic. And I'm so pleased because the first formula was amazing. Everybody loved it. The second formula is even better. So just to put it on your radar, if you've not yet tried our hydrating serum, I'd love you to try it. You're going to love it. And might keep the sun off my head today, maybe. So for me, I hope you have an amazing day. Take loads of notes and make sure that from those notes at the end of this webinar today, you look at those notes and say, what are the 3 things that I'm going to do different in my life? You know, success in life is about having success habits, having a pattern of behavior that lends you to having a positive mental attitude each day and lends you towards building your customer base, looking after your customer base and bringing new people on each day. So I'm going to introduce you to our MC today. Chris, are you on the line, please? I hope.
I am, Bob, wearing my serum.
You're wearing your serum.
You're going to say, why do I look different?
Actually, you jumped in before me. Why do you look different this morning, Chris?
Because I'm wearing my new hydrating serum, Bob.
Well, you can see I've had the COVID haircut. And I need serum on my head now to make sure that it's smooth and good looking. How's the weather in Wales this morning?
Very much like the weather in, it's not windy as it appears to be in your garden, but it's as grey as your place.
That's because I'm outdoors, determined to enjoy the summer, and you are indoors. That's the difference.
Yeah, but the trees aren't moving. I can see them from here.
I think I told you I drove past your house. Oh, there's a cat fight going on behind there. I've got 2 cats. One that my Nicola decided to recruit from Crete last year, and the other one who's lived with us for a while. And there's a fight going on behind me. All sorts of activity going on in Warwickshire. I drove past your house not so long ago. You live in one of the most beautiful places that I have seen down that Wye Valley. I came from Ross on Wye. I was playing golf down the road there. It is beautiful.
It is. It really is. And so no hardship really to be locked down and working from home. Truly one of the most beautiful parts of the world. So the only bit we're missing is not seeing the grandchildren, but and friends, of course. But soon, maybe, we have our fingers crossed that that day may be coming. They've had their bags packed for 3 weeks.
Yeah, we've been the same. We saw our grandkids 2 weekends ago and it was amazing. That was the only downside of lockdown. Not seeing friends and family, of course. I remember clearly the first time I met you because we were trying to build a meeting in Leicester and you came along and then you became one of the key members in building that meeting, and that's how I got to know you. And that seems in one way a long way ago and in another way not so long ago.
Yeah, unbelievable. And when I say to people we've been in the business 22 years now, I think, where did that, it went so fast. It did go so fast. So yeah, Leicester does seem a long time ago, that meeting. And, you know, I remember going that one time to the meeting and you were running it, and I went there with my guest, and the only other people who turned up, the only other person that turned up was Richard Hayes, bless him. And me, you and Richard, and me and my guest, and that whole message we used to say, you know, that the meeting needs you. You need to be supporting the events. And I was mortified. But you showed the business to this guy and he joined and became a supervisor. And 19 years on, still orders products every month.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think one of us was presenting and the other was guarding the door in case he ran out, maybe. I'm not sure, but it was...
We all 3 sat on the front row and you clicked the slides.
You know, what I learned from that, and it was a great learning message, that sometimes you do things, you do activities, whether it be product launches, one-to-ones, talking to people, and you never really know what the outcome's going to be. And actually, the more you can disconnect from the outcome, the better, because if you do enough activity and just stick at it, it will work in every walk of life. And that's what I learned from that. And Leicester for me was a big, big learning message.
Yeah, I mean, the times we went and there'd be nobody there, then, you know, I think the top week we had 140. We kept having to move venues, but it was just that consistency. And I think once you recognize, as you say, that all you have to do in Forever is follow the system consistently with a sense of urgency, letting go of the outcome, because it's just like buying a franchise. You know, if you buy a McDonald's, yes, it'll cost you millions. In fact, we drove yesterday more than 5 miles, which we've not been allowed to do for months.
It's tough in Wales,
I was 30 at McDonald's. Yeah, unbelievable. We weren't there, we were driving past. But, you know, if you bought a McDonald's, you would put the burger in the bun, wear the badges, follow the system.
And
you know, Yeah,
on time.
I struggled with that when I started because I didn't want to retail products. I didn't want anybody to know what I was doing. So once I got over that and realized that if I just followed the system, the business would work, and let go of the end result, just keep doing it day in, day out. And that's what happened.
Yeah, it is about doing those things consistently. And, you know, it's hard in the beginning because there's you.
Oh,
And then there's maybe one person in your team and then two people in your team. And it's hard to imagine that over time, as you have done, you and Alan, you've got thousands of people in your group around the world. And you could never, if we'd had this conversation all those years back in Leicester and I'd said to you, Chris, you know, if you just keep doing this for a few years, you'll have a few thousand people in your organization. You'd have gone, Bob, you're on drugs, wouldn't you?
yeah, absolutely. At the beginning, it is that roller coaster, isn't it? That, you know,
Yeah.
if somebody joins your business and you're like, fantastic. And then somebody rings up and says, I don't like the gel, I want my money back. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh no, it doesn't work. And you write back down.
Yeah.
And then somebody else says that it's that up and down and up and down. And all you learn over 20 years is it's an up and down business, but it's more gentle because, you know, when you go up, you'll be coming down.
Yeah.
But it's disciplining that disappointment. You know, I know that when somebody disappointed me, didn't join, or, you know, the people that bought a pack and you never heard from them again.
Yeah. Kidnapped by aliens. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Disappear up there. That would knock me back a week.
Yeah.
And you just stop doing the activity until you got over it. And so, you know, learning that, okay, pity party for 20 minutes. I still quit regularly, but never for more than 20 minutes.
All of us.
Back on the bike. And as long as you keep doing it, but it's that disappointment that unless you can discipline your disappointments, you're never going to get anywhere, because it's about people. People let you down.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you can understand that early on, that it's not going to be a smooth ride, things are going to happen that disappoint you, things are going to happen that excite you. The most important thing is to get that belief so that every single day, no matter what anybody says to you, you stay on the same track. And that's what you've done. So congratulations for that, for sure.
Well, I think the more time you're in the business, the more you realize that what you've said is so true. You know, I remember when I joined, and my brother, he was just...
My brother's still the same to this day.
Yeah.
Absolutely to this day. Never changed his view.
No, well, I think my brother was slightly different in that he didn't look at the business. He didn't know anything about it to give me his opinion. I remember John Curtis saying, everybody's got an opinion, a bit like belly buttons, no use to anybody. But he didn't look at the business. He just had an opinion, which he voiced vociferously, and then 7 months later joined the business. So
somebody sent me a great little I don't know, quote on I don't know, Instagram the other day, I think it was, about, you know, if you try and introduce our product to somebody, you know, all of a sudden they become researchers. And yet, you know, if somebody introduces a pharmaceutical drug to them, they take it without asking any questions at all. And I think, you know, this is my brother, absolutely my brother. You know, what are you doing in the natural health world? 30 years on, I'm still here. It's unbelievable.
Well, he said this like James' brother. What didn't he say? You know, it'll never work.
Yeah,
and now, 25 years on, he says it'll never last.
You gotta love it.
You gotta let them go.
Lovely chatting to you this morning. I'm sure everybody's thinking, will they get on, because we want to learn something. So, Chris, lovely talking to you this morning. To everyone on the line this morning, have a fantastic morning. There's a great lineup of speakers, and from me, goodbye from sunny now Warwickshire. Bye, Chris. Thank you.
See you later, Bob. See you later.
Bye-bye.
So, good morning, everyone. Yes, very excited to be here this morning to launch our Excellence webinar. And you've heard a little bit about me. I'll just fill in the gaps. As I said, started my business 22 years ago. At the time, I was one of the lucky ones. So good job, good money. I was a director of a global sportswear brand looking after Europe. No life. Traveling all the time, away from home all the time. And I became more and more disillusioned. Not only about the lack of time, the lack of flexibility, the lack of freedom. We had 2 teenage girls at home at the time. My husband, Alan, traveled with his job. And then suddenly both my mum, her health started to fail. Alan's parents, their health started to fail. And I just thought something's got to give. There's got to be a better way. But what? I started to look around for something different. And to be fair, I couldn't really find anything. Anything that said flexible, anything that said part-time. To be honest, it was like you'd had your brain removed, minimum wage, and just not worth doing, because, you get used to what you earn. So I was looking for a good income. I was looking for long-term security, because the industry on which I built my career, and Alan had built his, the manufacturing industry, was just disappearing. Companies were going bust all around us due to high borrowings, but also due to intense overseas competition. And to be honest, the world was a little like it is now, with many household names just disappearing. So I kept on doing what I was doing, until quite by chance, through a client, I was introduced to Forever. I'd never heard of the company. I'd never heard of the product, never heard of aloe vera even. But I was open to looking, because I was looking for something. It was quite by chance. She invited me to a product event. I didn't want to go. I didn't know there was a business behind it then, but went along, saw the products, got excited, heard about the business, and went to find out more. And I suppose the first thing I thought was, if what they're showing me is true, this would be amazing. But I was very skeptical, but realized that I'd got nothing to lose, because I didn't have to give anything up. So don't ask me how, but around a 60, 70-hour day job, 2 kids, 2 sets of parents, husband that traveled, I started my Forever business. Really, really part-time, probably did about 7 to 10 hours a week, around those commitments, without the internet, without a mobile phone, none of those things. But within 6 months was able to walk away from the day job. 18 months later, Alan gave up. To his surprise, Alan gave up his job to join me. And this is all we've done ever since. It's been amazing, I have to say. I'm very grateful to say that financially, the company's delivered more than ever we could have asked for. We've qualified for everything on the marketing plan. We've traveled the world. But the best bit has been freedom, that freedom of choice. Being able to choose how you live each day, to get up each morning, decide when you're going to work, who you're going to work with, where you're going to work. That's what's made it truly amazing. To be there for the girls, see them flown the nest now, to have been there for our parents in sadly what turned out to be their last years, and now to have the most, when out of lockdown, to have the most amazing adventures with our gorgeous grandchildren. That is truly what has made it the best decision that we ever made. Don't get me wrong, when we work hard. There's nothing for nothing in any business, but the reward of working with a team of people, helping other people achieve, just knowing you've played a small part in other people's success, is truly what makes us still working our business daily, 22 years on, and so proud to be #Forever Proud. So we've got a really exciting day planned, and there's never anything more exciting than giving away free products. And you've heard about the hydrating serum. Maybe you haven't yet tried it. It is amazing. Well, we're going to be giving away quite a few of those today. So what do you have to do? Well, you simply have to post on social media. You have to post on Instagram with the #Forever Excellence. You'll see it in the chat there. And the best story is going to win some phenomenal product. The main prize today will be not just the hydrating serum, but the full targeted skincare range. So that is very worth posting all about. So #Forever Excellence, and you could be walking away either with a serum or with that huge prize. There are other prizes up for grabs. These are quite difficult to get though. We're giving away biocellulose masks, so you may want to write down how you can do this. To win a biocellulose mask, you need to stay on the webinar. Well, hey, how simple was that? So you don't have to do anything. You just have to be on the webinar. You need to be writing those notes, staying connected. And just for doing that, you could be picking up one of our awesome biocellulose masks. Now, winners are going to be announced as we go through the morning. I have a hotline, a hot WhatsApp line to head office, and they will be sending me the winners' names as we go through. So not only awesome speakers, but a fantastic chance to win some prizes. So what have we got for you today? Well, a great lineup, all the basics that you need to learn, top tips, so that we can make sure that not only Forever, but our individual businesses are seeing the growth that Bob has talked about earlier. And to kick off our day, I can think of no one better than Sally Hargreaves. Sally is going to be, Sally is a manager in the business, and she's been with Forever now for 8 years, a background in IT, but after joining Forever, just 6 months into her Forever journey, she was able to give up her job. So, are you there, Sally?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. I'm just starting my video.
There's always that moment when there's
technology works. How amazing!
Right, and we all hold our breath. So
right,
you,
okay. So yes, I've got 20 minutes to tell you all about what you do in your first 90 days with Forever. So to start off with, I would like you to write down 3 words for me. Okay, so grab a pen and a piece of paper and write this down. You're going to write down immerse, plan, believe. Okay, so as you've heard this morning already, our business is actually quite simplistic, but it's not always the easiest. So we all join the same way. I joined Forever 8 years ago. This box arrived in my porch with lots of lovely goodies in it, and it can be overwhelming. There's no denying it. What do you actually do with your new business? Okay, so this is your start your journey pack, and when you join, you've probably been told that this is both your sample pack to lend to people, but more importantly, this is for you to immerse yourself. Okay, so this is for you to try the products, to fall in love with the products, to develop your own personal favorites. So when you start your business, you might be really, really nervous. You might be really, really excited, but most of all, you're probably going to be a bit overwhelmed. And where do you start? Well, you start with our amazing products. So we want you to retail the products. We want you to develop your own testimonials about these products. And the best way to do that is to use them yourself. So if you're brand new in the business, the best possible advice I can give you is to use as many products as you can. So as Bob said earlier, he got a black bin bag, anything that Forever sold, he threw away the equivalent that he already had in his house. And that is fantastic advice. What else can you do? At the moment, there's huge amounts of training. So along with trying the products, the best way to learn about the products is to talk to your upline, the person that brought you into the business, but also go on Forever Knowledge, go on to Forever's YouTube channel, and these are all available for you. If you Google them, or again, ask the person that brought you into the business, they'll be able to show you where these things are. And it's about you developing your knowledge, because the more you know, the more you'll feel confident and the more you will talk about the products. So what else do you get in your box? Well, what you also get is an amazing literature pack. So we often say that this is your business in a box, and it is very, very true that there is everything that you need in there to start your business. So again, open everything up, have a read, and you will find this, which is your First Steps to Manager manual. It's in the box. This has everything that you need to build your business. So even if the person that introduced you to the business disappeared off the face of the earth, this is your training manual. This is everything you could possibly need to start up. Has all your retailing ideas in there, has memory joggers so you can download your database of everybody that you know. Also has a 7-day plan, so we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But this goal sheet is one of the most important parts of your business. So there will be a reason you joined Forever, and that reason will be very, very personal to you. So for me, I had an IT business when I joined Forever. My salary was good, but I didn't have any time. Now this goal page was amazing for me because I knew exactly how much I needed to earn from Forever for it to be my full-time income, which it has been for the last 7.5 years. So for me, I was really, really focused on my income from Forever. Now, obviously, different people join for different reasons. Some people join for personal development. Some people join to meet new people. It's not always income focused, but I think the majority of people, it's all about the income. Now, for me, my personal goals and my family goals were exactly the same. It was all about bringing an extra income into the home, which would then mean that I could give up my IT business. Childcare would no longer be a struggle. I could work from home and have the work-life balance that I needed. So with everybody on the call today, no matter where you are in your business, whether you've been in the business 5 minutes or 5 years, do you know what your goals are? Because if you haven't planned what you want from your business, no matter how big that is or how small that is, then how do you know what to aim for? And how do you know whether your business is working or not? So it's surprising sometimes that people feel that they haven't got what they wanted from their Forever business, but they didn't know what they wanted in the first place. So where are you going to be in 3 months? Where are you going to be in 6 months? Where are you going to be in 3 years? And what kind of income do you need from your Forever business to match those goals? Another thing I think is really, really important is to celebrate your success. So when you start your brand new business and you're nervous and you're excited and you're trying really hard not to get overwhelmed with everything that is going on, celebrate your wins. So when are you getting your first customer? And did you celebrate your first customer? When did you make your first £100 profit? And did you celebrate that? So we've got a really simple marketing plan. Every single product that we have, as you know, has a CC value, but it also has a profit. So when you come in as an assistant supervisor, you're getting 35% profit. So if you sell 1 CC, which is around £230 retail, you've got £82 profit in your pocket. So what are you going to do to celebrate that success? Have you earmarked where that profit is going to go? What are you going to spend that on? What difference is that going to make to you? And when you get up to kind of retailing 4 CCs a month, which is obviously what most of us aim for in the beginning, you've got £328 profit on that. So when I coach my team members, I don't focus so much on CCs. I don't focus so much on the volume. I actually focus more on the actual money that you're making. Because if you came into the business, for example, to make £500 a month profit, I think it's really important to divide that up into smaller goals and celebrate every time you hit those goals. And the fantastic thing about our business is we're building repeat customers. Everything that we sell runs out. And that's one of the key parts of the business. So if you learn how to look after your customers properly, then obviously those customers will keep coming back to you. So I've got customers that are 8 years old. I've looked after them well, and every month they come back and order more, which is obviously what we are all aiming for. So, planning. How do you plan your business? Oh, okay. So first of all, we're going to do this, sorry. Right, so yeah, you need a plan. So your goal may be to earn £500 a month, £1,000 a month, £2,000 a month, but you need a plan to go along with that. It's all very well saying, I'm going to start my forever business, I've got my box, and in the month of September, I'm going to earn £500 for my forever business. But you need a plan to go alongside that. And again, that is in your First Step to Manager manual. So this is in the manual, and it's really, really simplistic. So if you're retailing, who are you going to show your products to? And how are you going to show them? So it's already been mentioned today, but there's lots of people doing online launches. I've been doing pet launches, weight loss launches, looking after your immune system, lots and lots of different things. Everybody's at home, everybody's on Zoom. This is an absolutely fantastic way to say to people, log on to a Zoom call, 30 minutes, completely free, give away some free prizes, make it really, really fun. But it's about showcasing those products. So who are you going to showcase them to? So in terms of retail activity, Zoom is fantastic. Also, you can send samples to people, or you can invite people to look at your online shop. So don't forget, when you start your business, you get a free retail website. And the profit from anybody ordering on that website will hit your account. That's what you filled out when you joined the business. So you filled out your application form, and part of that was filling out your bank details. If you don't know where your online shop is, then ask the person that brought you into the business. But you have this amazing tool. You got this as part of your £200, but you need to invite people to look at that website. They're not going to suddenly find that website all by themselves. So it's about making a plan who you're going to show the business to. So you can see the retail activity on the right-hand side. It's on the right-hand side of my screen. On the left-hand side is who you're going to talk to about the business. So don't forget, there's two sides to our business. There's the retail, but there's also bringing people into the business that want to earn an extra income just like you. So make a list. Who are you going to speak to? How many people are you going to speak to per day? So if you've still got a job or a family, etc., and you've got other commitments, then maybe 3 people a day is what a great target for you. And what are you going to do? Invite them to look at some information. You can send them a short video. There's lots of videos on the Forever Living YouTube channel again. And then the company's running business presentations twice a week. So you can also invite them, actually it's 3 times a week. There's a daytime one and 2 evening ones. So you can also invite them to look at the business presentation, again, run on Zoom. And that means that you don't actually have to do anything. So if you're brand new in the business and you're not confident with the marketing plan, just plug them into something else. Okay, so the YouTube channel, you can look up Forever Living on YouTube. The other thing I would really recommend that you follow is the Forever Living UK events on Facebook, because that tells you when the webinars are on for your training, but also for the business presentations. Okay, so you've got your 7-day plan. I write my 7-day plan every Sunday. Sunday evening, sit down, might even have a glass of wine, and I just write a plan of what activity I'm going to do on the next week. Now, this is the most important thing. You need to believe in your business. As Bob and Chris were saying earlier, there's so many people that join the business but don't quite believe it's going to work for them. So I'm going to give you an analogy. Imagine you opened up a traditional florist shop in your local village, in your local high street. How much do you think that would cost you to set up? So you've got to shop fit, you've got to have signs, you've got to order all the flowers in, pay for your lease, put your deposit down, etc., etc. I personally think that's going to cost you between £10,000 and £15,000. Now imagine that first day of opening, somebody walked into your shop and they told you that their next door neighbour's cousin 8 years ago opened a florist shop and never made a penny. It all went horribly wrong. Now this florist shop might have been in a completely different area. They might have done it extremely badly. They might have never marketed it. But you think, do you know what? They're right. I don't know this person from Adam, but I had this wonderful idea of opening this florist shop. And now I'm just going to shut the florist shop, just like that. Because one person, or maybe 2 or 3, said it's not going to work. So do you see the analogy? So you've bought your box. You had a really, really good reason to start your forever business. And that's the thing that you need to hang on to. So people are going to say no to you. People are going to tell you all sorts of amazing stories about how the business isn't going to work. And people are also going to tell you that the products don't work. Maybe they're going to tell you that people don't need supplements. You just keep going. You're focused on your goals. You've got your goals written in your book. Their opinions are not going to pay your bills. Their opinions are not going to get you the life that you want. And you have to somehow borrow belief off of other people, watch all the videos on the YouTube channel about other people that have made success in their forever business. But you have to keep going if this is what you want. You have to hang on to the reason you joined the business. So have belief, but also have a plan. Imagine that florist shop again. You've got to open the door. It's amazing the amount of people that don't really do much with their forever business, never really open the door, maybe just sort of slightly put it ajar just in case, but then shut it again. And how are you going to market? This is your 7-day plan. Your marketing is working out who you're going to speak to each week, writing yourself a plan, and then get your diary out and find yourself 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the day that you're going to speak to these people. Work out a retail activity for each week to build that retail business. The belief in your business is absolutely 100% the hardest part. I'm not belittling it at all, because it is really, really scary when you start your own business. But just find a way to hang on to your belief. Work out why you joined the business, what it is you want, even if it's what income you want in 3 months' time. Focus on that and just be a steamroller. Just keep going for that. If people want to be negative, that's up to them. That's, you know, absolutely fine. Everybody's entitled to their belief. I wouldn't say argue with them, but just keep going. I've heard the word stick-to-itness before. I've kept going for 8 years. It's now got me the lifestyle that I want. I work from home. I spend the time I want to with my son. And I absolutely love what I do. So immerse yourself, plan your business like it was a huge business, not just a home-based business, and believe, even if you need to borrow that belief off of somebody else. And I really hope that helps you. And I'm now going to hand back to Chris.
Thank you, Sally. Brilliant. I would tick all of those things that agree with the tick, all of those things you talked about. You can't sell a product if you haven't tried it. And when I started, I did just the same as you, just the same as Bob said, started using those products. And as we've gone on to build a business, it's so important to expand that product experience. And I'm proud to say that I've tried every product in the range, even the vet spray, and I don't have any pets. That's a story for another time. So just keep expanding. Celebrating small wins, so important. It's the little steps that get us to the largest steps. And again, often new FBOs don't even know they've made any money. So being sure to calculate with them how much profit they've made is so important. And the First Steps to Manager manual that Sally talked about is step by step, a guide to building a business. Even if you didn't have a sponsor or an upline, working your way through First Steps to Manager, you could build a forever business. And yet many people never take the time to read it cover to cover, to read it more than once cover to cover, and to work through it. And all the documents are there to use in your First Steps to Manager, but they're also downloadable from Forever Knowledge. So no excuses. We just have to take the time to follow the system. And top tip, plan on a Sunday. Sally's absolutely right. Planning is key. I found that if I didn't plan on Sunday who I was going to talk to, then I would waste at least an hour every day of the week thinking, shall I talk to them, or should I talk to them or them? So for me, as soon as I got serious with my business, I plan every Sunday night, write out the profile of who I'm going to talk to. Simple system, all in First Steps to Manager, just need to follow it. And as Sally says, immerse, plan, believe. So thank you, Sally. Brilliant. We'll see you soon. Okay, so already we have some prizes. People are posting on Facebook, they're posting on Instagram, they're using the hashtag Forever Excellence. And our first winners for today, listen up, Cheryl Minot, Ryan Llewellyn, Myri Coleman. I apologise if I've said any of those names incorrectly, but you're all winners of a biocellulose mask. How exciting. So if you can claim your prize, please. Head office will be in touch with you, but in the past, some people haven't claimed their prize. So you can email events-uk@flp.ltd. So that's events-uk@flp.ltd. Brilliant. So keep posting. Don't forget, lots of prizes up for grabs. Okay, so we're now going to go to our second speaker of the day, and they're going to talk to us about how to create a strong and robust retailing business. Retailing, the products underpin our entire marketing plan, and so really important to have that strong retail business. So Emma Smith, I am going to welcome. Emma is a senior manager. She's been in the business now for 6.5 years. Emma was a personal trainer. Anybody who is connected with Emma on Facebook will see that she's still as fit as a fiddle, and she puts me to shame, I have to say, when I see all these runs that she does. She was also a leisure club manager, and she joined Forever just to earn an extra £200. How many people join for just an extra £200 and yet go on like Emma to build a phenomenal business? Within 5 months of joining, Emma had completely replaced her income, and she was able to leave her full-time job to focus on Forever. Since then, she's qualified for all of the company incentives. She works very flexibly around her husband and her gorgeous little 2-year-old girl, Skylar. So I can think of no one better to share her experience than Emma. Are you there? Hey!
Hi, I'm here. I'm just checking, Chris. Can you see my slides okay?
I can see your slides. I can see you. You all look good to go.
Ah, perfect.
Over to you.
6.5 years in the business, and I do lots of Zooms, lots of training, and I still get nervous when I'm jumping online. Can everybody see me okay? Can everyone see my slides? Well, that's just normal, I suppose, isn't it? So it is my absolute pleasure this morning to share with you exactly how I have created a strong and robust retail business. And I'm going to speak more specifically over the last couple of months and share with you some of my tips, especially with a lot of what Sally has just said. A lot of it is going to cross over, but I think that just really solidifies the business, doesn't it? And shows that it is simple. We all do the same thing. We just put our own little spin on it. So it is my absolute pleasure to take you through my retail part. So very much what Sally was saying, I think it is key that you plan when it comes to the retail side of your business, because we can sit down at the beginning of the month and we can put a plan in place for business in general. It can be income related, it can be case credit related, it might be incentive related, but quite often people forget to put an actual structure in place when it comes to the retail, and the retail is the bread and butter of our business. Without that product and without that retail, we wouldn't have a business. So I think it's really, really important that you, at the beginning of the month, you are prepared, you've got that structure, and it gives you the full control of your income. And with that, I mean, of course, if you want to get started in business to simply retail the products and earn that extra income, like Chris said I did at the beginning, I just wanted to earn £200 a month. I thought, if I can squeeze in £200 a month extra earnings around a 70-hour working week, then that for me means I just won't dip in my overdraft every month. I was one of those people that just had too much month and not enough money. So that's what I wanted to do. And I knew that if I could just have a little plan in place that meant that I could earn that £50 a week, that £200 a month, then I would be on the right tracks. But it might be that you need that full control of your income and you need a lot more than that. And the retail side of this business is the only part really that you have got full control of. Of course, you can work up the marketing plan and you can open up the different streams of income when it comes to a team leading bonus, but you have got at your hands that income ready to go if you have got a plan in place. And very much what Sally was just saying, I like the fact that we're going to bounce off each other with this. Don't focus on CCs if they're not the goal. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So, skipping pages, because we can attach ourselves to case credits and get case credit crazy in our mind, can't we? So we can be like, I need to do 4 case credits this month. I need 18 to go for supervisor, or I need 20 for manager, or whatever it may be. And very quickly, those case credits just end up a bit of a blur, and we are working case credits, talking case credits, but sort of lose the value of them. And that is why I wanted to share this slide with you, because even now I'm a senior manager in the business, 6.5 years nearly in business, and it still blows me away when I look at the type of income that we can earn on a retail basis alone. Now, there's lots of companies out there, lots of businesses out there, you know, and I'm yet to come across one that pays like ours does when it comes to the retail side. So as an example, if you're an assistant supervisor in the business and you retail 1 case credit worth of products, that's going to earn you £82 profit. Now, to know that straight away, £82, that might be that you can take, and depending where you are in the UK, certain restrictions are lifting at the moment, might be that you just really want to go out for some a nice tea and treat the kids. If you retail 1 case credit this weekend, that would pay for that. So to know that if you're in a position, you could have joined yesterday in the business and you're an assistant supervisor and you genuinely have got no money, and that is why you've got your business started. If you get to work and simply follow the basics, follow everything that we're teaching, share some of the ideas that we're going to share today, and retail a case credit and earn that £82, that's the difference of you doing something with the kids, doing something with the family, making memories. So when I say don't focus on the case credits, flip it over. So then think about how much you need to earn. And I always say need as opposed to want to earn, because when you start to think about what you need. So if I said, as an example, if somebody said to me, Emma, I have to earn £400 this month. There's no excuses, no reason. I have to earn £400 because if I don't, I can't pay my rent. Then we can attach that £400 and it's I have to do it. It's a have to, an absolute need. When it's a want, it's more of a, oh, well, I'd love that handbag. I'd love that pair of trainers. So yeah, if I do a couple of case credits this month, it'll pay for it. But that's when it'll flip into more of a, well, I don't need the trainers. It's not, you know, life or death situation with them trainers. So if it doesn't really mean that much to you, you don't attach that emotional attachment, so you'll let it go. So think about how much you need to earn, and then take a look at what you need to do. Align that then to the case credits, so you've got that attachment. So out of interest, you know, think about now, what is it that you need? And we are on is it the 18th today? The 18th of the month. Whether you are well on track this month and your month is going to plan and you've got a structure in place, which I'm going to share with you some tips shortly if you've not, or whether you are behind, not where you wanted to be, that is absolutely fine. It is only the 18th of the month. We have still got 2 weeks left pretty much to draw a line in the sand, take a look at this, take a look at what you need to earn, and put a solid plan in place so you have a massive 2 weeks left of this month. Now, I'm going to tell you about when my sort of want and my income turned into a need. So at the beginning of lockdown, at the end of March, my husband works in construction and he brings quite a large income into our household, and he was literally closed down overnight when it comes to working on site. So he came home just before lockdown, if I'm honest, and said, in a half-hearted type of story, he'd not paid much attention, something about this virus, and they didn't have the PPE, so he couldn't work on site, and that was it. And that was actually the 10th of March. The 10th of March he came home, and that was because he is self-employed, his income stopped. And then, of course, as the restrictions was complete lockdown and he couldn't work and he's self-employed, his income was just stopped, completely stopped. So that for me then was a, right, well, I need to replace as much of his income as I can. So of course I got to work because I had more time because he was at home then with our little girl more. So it was like a role reversal, but I had that peace of mind that I could flip in to the full-time role as opposed to working it around my little girl, so that I could then earn more money. And this is where I got to work quickly with the retail, because I knew very quickly I could start to earn an incredible income in retail alone. So year to date, this is just before I'd done these slides last week, I worked out my profit, and it did blow me away when I worked it out. So in retail profit alone, so far this year, I have earned 6,896. I think I've done another case credit, 1.5 case credits since I did these slides, so that's probably gone over £7,000 now. But you think in retail profit alone, step aside from a team leading bonus and any other income, excuse me, any other income I've earned, £6,896, and that was what I was in full control of, which just shows you the power of this business. But I could not have done that if I didn't have a plan in place and get to work straight away. So if you're looking at that thinking, wow, like that for me is an income that I earn. For some people, you know, it takes people a 40-hour week over, you know, that's 6 months' wages over working 40 hours a week. And that's me working in lockdown, being a product of the product. I am a product of the product. I absolutely rave about the products. I use the products. I'm not afraid to share the products. I'm proud of them. So think about the products that you love, the products that you have amazing success with. Do you shout about them enough? And it's finding a fine line and a balance, because there is nothing worse, and I'll say that, than people who just hammer social media, just product. It doesn't work, you know, when you're doing that. It's got to be little snippets, little intros, little setting the scene so that people are intrigued. I am massive on, I use social media every day, but I absolutely love the stories on social media because they only stay for 24 hours. So when it comes to the stories, I'm quite happy to post as much as I want about products on there because it is gone. So even if it is a case of me pouring the drinking gel, sharing that I'm having a shake, I've done a little selfie on my social media this morning saying I'm logging into a training and I've got my shake in my hand. You know, just little snippets there. She is again, she's drinking that red juice stuff. I wonder what that shake is that she has. I'm always doing this skincare. I did a little story last night with my husband sat on the couch with a biocellulose mask on, and I'm laughing as he sat there with his mask on. It's just little snippets into the business and into the product. So people will then say, what is that mask he's got on, Emma? What is that drink that you're drinking? I have a product page as well. So some of you may or may not have this. I've got a separate page on Facebook where I do post daily, and that is a purpose-built page for people who are genuinely interested in the products. But what I like about my product page is I've built that up over a couple of years, where I know I've covered every product on that page. I've wrote enough information about it. I've either done a video myself or I have done a post. I've explained everything about it, so that if somebody does ask me about a product, because I am busy, I'm a busy mummy, I'm trying to build my business, I'm trying to juggle life and everything else, it's really difficult when somebody says to you, can I have more information about this particular product, and then you get into a whole conversation. So I will give them a snippet but say, look, I've got a page on Facebook where I can share the full information with you. Do you want me to pop you in? They then not only get exposure to all of my page, but I can then tag them in the relevant video. So I've got a video where I have poured the drinking gels, I've showed people what they look like, I talk about them, I talk about the benefits. The same with the new serum last week. As soon as I got my hands on that product, I went live, I spoke about it. So I know that I can drop people into that product information page. They can then get all the information, they get my full attention when it comes to understanding the product, and they get exposure, and I go live in there quite often, because I do think people want to see you behind the product. They don't want to see a Google image, they don't want to see you sharing someone else's post. They want to see you, your passion, your integrity for the company and the business. And it is a nice little page where you know you're not offending anybody, you're not upsetting or annoying anybody, because they have asked to be in your page. When it comes to the page, I'm big on referrals, or when it comes to people, not everybody's on social media, so people are not in that product page, I always ask for referrals. So I speak to my customers all the time when I'm handing products out, when people are purchasing products from me. I always say, look, if there's anybody else that you know that might want to take a look at the products, give me a shout. I can send them some samples across, I send them a brochure. Feel free to add them into my page if you feel that it might benefit them. Always think about your who do you know lists. Who do you know list? Because as well, this is all about Retail My Slot in particular, but you've got to think, you know, people come into the business in all different ways, and how many people come into this business. Think about yourself. It'd be interesting to know how many are logged in today that came into the business by being a customer. So if my customers are on my page and just want to be a customer, that's absolutely fine. But if their friends want to become a customer, then see me building a business and think, well, I could do this, then you're opening up a new who do you know list of people just by simply asking for referrals. And people love to support people's businesses, especially in the last couple of months. More than ever, people are more supportive of more local businesses and independent business owners. So you're mad if you are not asking and putting out there for referrals, because people like to do nice things for people. And I know one lady in particular loves when she gets new people that buy from me. She gets really excited for me. So like I said, samples and experience packs. So the little samples of like the little sachet samples, I always send them out. Experience packs, I'm not going to lie, I've not really got any products out over the last couple of months with lockdown. I felt a little bit uneasy about it, but that's just my personal opinion. But ordinarily, I'd be letting people try the products. But what I have done, and I've flipped in the last couple of months, as opposed to letting people just try the products, I've massively promoted the 60-day money-back guarantee instead. So I've been, again, proud of the product and know that they work, and confident enough to say, look, give it a try, buy the new serum. If you don't like it, you've got 60 days to get your money back. What have you got to lose? Yeah, no problem, I'll buy one. Yeah, I'll try the drinking gel. And like I say, nearly 6.5 years in business, never once have I had a single item returned. And I have massively promoted that, and even more so since March. Social media, I've said, use your social media, but get a good balance with it. Think about, I always say, think about people that annoy you on social media. Because we've all got those people that annoy us, haven't we? Why do they annoy you? What do they post? How do they post? What is it that they do that annoys you? Don't be that person that annoys you. Be the person that inspires you. So whose social media do you like? You know, would you follow you on social media? That's the way you've got to think of it. So I have a really good balance of, normally, again, it's been a little bit different during lockdown, of course, but a lifestyle with my little girl, then a little bit of the product and business, and I try and get a good flow. I feel that very much so in the last couple of months, there's been a lot of selfies of me sat in this office, which is absolutely fine because the whole world has changed. But even if it is just letting people know a bit of an insight into you, because on a business point of view, I've had lots of people that have joined my business in the last couple of months alone that I didn't know. We've met on social media, but feel like they know me, and they've said, I feel really comfortable with you. I feel like I'm part of your family because you post all the time and I know enough about you. And it gives people the confidence then to approach you. Online launches, events, lives, they are huge at the moment. And if I'm honest, I don't think I'll deviate away from them, even when lockdown restrictions, start to lift, because I absolutely love them. The interaction on online launches has been incredible. I have had far more people logged in live than I've ever had sat in any event or room. You can have a really good interaction, so don't be afraid of launching online. I've been doing them pretty much every night, some form of event or launch, and I still get nervous. Of course I do. We all get nervous, but that's because you care about the business. So if you haven't done an event, if you haven't done an online launch, get out of your comfort zone. I do lots of lives, so I always go live in my customer page, because again, like, I've got a serum here in front of me. I've just done a little selfie with it, and I could post a picture of this amazing hydrating serum with some spiel on my customer page as an example, and people would probably read it. Whereas if it says hydrating serum Emma's live now, people are nosy, they want to see it. And if I'm dancing about with this and I'm putting it on my face and talking about it, lives are super powerful. Facebook loves people going live. It creates an audience for you, and it generates so much more interest. So I would say definitely focus on doing something a little bit different if you haven't already. And even if it's don't use the word launch thinking as a new business owner, because I've been doing launches, different events. So I've been going live very much what Sally said about weight management, about skincare, about animal care, whatever it may be, just snippets every single week. Dear Neighbour letters, they've been more powerful than ever recently. I've been doing a lot of running and finding new little routes near my house. So when I then have been out, especially when the weather was nice with my little girl, we've been going for a walk and we've just been posting Dear Neighbour letters. And as it got more and more people taking a look at the business and the products, more people are at home. People have definitely reevaluated their life over the last couple of months, especially with, and some people have enjoyed being at home. Some people are dying to get back to work. I get that. Lots of people have been made redundant. My sister was made redundant on Friday. So people are definitely looking at different ways of life, and you've got to be that exposure. You've got to be that letter through the door that might be the changing point for them. If you don't get it out there, then you will never know. So type up some Dear Neighbour letters, introduce yourself, let them know about the business opportunity and the product, and share it exactly what it is that you do. And if you get nothing back from it, that's absolutely fine, because people might have that letter sat in a drawer for a rainy day and come back to you in a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months time. So don't be afraid. And then think about retention. So you've got to, retain these customers. You've got to look after the customers. Retention is key. So it's all good and well putting everything into place, having a plan in place. So you might be sat there now thinking, right, okay, so 13, 14 days left of the month. I'm going to do some Dear Neighbour letters. I'm going to post them out on Monday. I'm going to get them printed this weekend. I'm going to do an online launch on Tuesday about weight management. I'm going to do an online launch about skincare Friday. I'm going to get a real solid plan in place with some of the tips I've just shared. And then putting all this effort and working, gaining all of these customers, earning that additional income, and then expecting the customers to just come to you. It doesn't work like that. There is still a competitive marketplace out there, and you've got to be that cut above everybody else. You've got to be that go-to person, that person that looks after the customers. So I follow up with my customers all the time. I don't care if they buy a lip balm. I message them after a couple of days and say, it can just be something cheesy like, how are you loving the lip balm? They might be like, yeah, I really love it. But I always follow up with them. Don't just think it's just a £3 product. When it comes to the bigger products, people are really key on looking after customers throughout like a cleanse program, the day before, day 1, day 3, day, but then they fall off at the end. Make sure you're always following up with people, always making sure that you can upsell the next thing to them, look after their health and wellness, ask them what they want and then provide it. So, at the end of the C9, as they're coming towards the end of a C9, as an example, I will always then say, what is the goal now moving forward? Because I don't want you to lose these results. I don't want you to fall off the wagon, and I'll try and get them onto a Fit 15. And if that isn't the case, I will always make sure, if nothing else, they continue to drink the gel, because I know, and the health benefits are just phenomenal. So think about all the people maybe that have fell off the wagon in the last couple of months. Go back to them. Follow up. We always say fortune is in the follow up. And again, from a business point of view, but we never think about it from a product point of view. Expand your customer spend. That is down to you and your knowledge. So If you are not clued up on the products yet, you might be new or you might just not have had time, that's fine. Work on yourself, understand the basics of the products and the business, because that then expands your spend. The more you know, knowledge is power when it comes to this. And if people, like as an example, a lady asked me about a particular type of skincare the other day, and I knew that skincare, that skin range she wanted wasn't for her, so I diverted her in the right range. That definitely expanded her spend, because I referred her to the Infinite range, but that was because of my knowledge. I then exposed her to the products that I thought she should use, told her what, the snippets of it, thinking she'd select 2 or 3 of the products, and she selected a whole lot more. So you can open up people's spend. I do little incentives, little offers, of course, I do on my product page. I did an offer for the serum. I hyped it up, brand new serum. We've been waiting forever for this. The first 10 of you guys on my product page that want one get a little offer on it. It's totally up to you if you want to do that. I wouldn't post that on my normal social media. I just keep stuff like that to my product page. But again, it is your business. So have little, things that are going to entice the customers to maybe try something new, or little snippets of the new products. Be a massive product promoter. And I've put their birthday and Christmas as well. So what I do at Christmas, I can't believe that I'm talking about Christmas, but to be fair, it'll soon be here. At Christmas, I send all of my customers a Christmas card, and I put them a little gift voucher in there. So if they're a big spender, so I've got customers that maybe spend like up to £100 a month on me, I put a £10 gift voucher in there for them. Or if not, I'll put a £5 voucher, and I just say, thank you for being an amazing customer and supporting my business this year. A little thank you from me. And I'll put a little voucher in there at Christmas. So nobody can say they're not planned ahead now thinking of that. And I always put an expiry date on the voucher of February, so I know that they're going to get that Christmas card, and I don't give it them until after like the Christmas cut-off type of thing, because I don't want them to use it on the spend. It might sound like I'm being tight, but I don't mean it in that way. I don't want them to use it on the Christmas spend. What I want is to know that they've got that moving into the new year, and that I'll get an order within the first 8 weeks of the year. Birthday, I've got a poll on my product page where people tick the month that their birthday is in, and I will send them a little birthday card, and in the birthday card I'll just say I'll pop a little freebie on any orders that you place this month. Normally a lip balm, again, I judge that on their order. If they ordered something big or spent quite a lot of money with me, then of course I would judge the free gift based on that. But customer service goes a long way, and when my customers get a little birthday card or a Christmas card, I'm going to be the business owner that goes over and beyond. I'm going to be the person they feel confident referring their friends to, the person that is always there using the products, sharing the products, and of course being a massive product of the product. So I think that is my last slide actually. So I hope that has helped, and I hope that gives you some ideas, some incentives, and something to put a plan in place for you moving forward towards the end of the month. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to hand over now to an amazing lady called Sheila, who is a new manager in the business, and she has just had amazing growth in her retail income. So I'm going to hand you over to Sheila.
Hello. Hi everyone. Thanks, Emma. Thank you. Okay. Can you see me? Good morning.
I can see you. Yeah, I can see you in your slides. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sheila. It's been an interesting morning. I've heard about Leicester, my hometown. Emma's been great as well, explaining everything. And basically, consistency and doing the do. There's never been a better time to do it. Anyway, a bit about me. I'm Sheila. I joined the business almost 5 years ago. I was a customer. I came across ill health, and to recover or improve my health, I actually used many of the products. I continued to use them. I'd been a hospital pharmacist for about 28 years, and suddenly I realised I've got my hands on some amazing products. We don't need to convince anybody, because the products speak for themselves. And so I joined the business as a hobby, really. And it's only in the last year, when I suddenly realised I was going to hit 55 this year, that actually, what am I doing? I'm just bumbling along. I need to do something about this. And I think lockdown was the best thing that happened for me. It gave me that push to genuinely share some amazing products. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so during lockdown, I realised people were more receptive to social media. Everybody's had to adapt. I've had to learn. We've all had to learn something during this time, whether it's making contact with people that you haven't spoken to in ages, or using the technology, really. We couldn't get out, and people were responsive because they want to speak to people. We're social people. Humans are not are used to being isolated. So the interaction and responses to telephone calls, messages, texts, everything has increased. And suddenly everybody is looking at health and well-being. It's always been there, but I think at this time and moment, people are suddenly very, very aware of the importance of it. I think something like 1 million people gave up smoking during lockdown. That's just one example. So yeah, everybody's looking at supplements and things. And I genuinely felt that I had something to offer with our background, with our knowledge that we get from our trainings. There's no reason why we can't share our products genuinely. And if you're using them, you know the benefits that you and your family are gaining. So there's no reason for you to be afraid of not to share of something genuine. Next slide, please. Thank you. So basically what I did in lockdown, I worked through my warm list, anybody that I've ever had interaction with in the past, really. So I contacted my family, friends and neighbours. I contacted customers that were in my VIP group, a bit similar to Emma's product page, but I've called it my VIP group. Anybody who's ever used a C9, people have been eating unhealthily during lockdown, picking up bad habits while you're sitting at home. Any ex-gel drinkers that I've had have now come back on board. Anybody who's ever completed a questionnaire. I've done lots of aloe bars in the past, and I've kept all my questionnaires, and I went back through every single one. There was a hell of a lot to do, but I did. And I'm part of some networking groups. I've kept the interactions up there, although we've not been able to meet. I've kept my friendships up, and it's all about speaking to people and just making sure everybody's aware. Next slide, please. Thank you. The messages that you send are important. Make them personal to you. Make it sound like you're talking to them. Don't do a bog standard one. So here's one that I sent. Hi Nikki, I haven't seen you in ages, like many people, but I'm working through my friends list. I'm wishing everyone is safe and well. You popped into my head, and how's lockdown been so far? Now most people would respond with something, hi, how you doing? I'm okay. No, I'm not okay. You just expand on the conversation, and as you go through your conversation, they might not get back to you the same day, or the next day, but they will do. And if they don't, I send another message saying, I've not heard from you, are you okay? And then most people will come back. Those messages led to conversations about what's going on, health and well-being, what you're doing, what they're doing. Next slide, please. Thank you. And in that way, I actually gained 9 new gel drinkers during a short space of time. Most people were getting bloated, they've been sitting at the computers, they're eating unhealthily. A lot of people obviously wanting to support their immune system. Lots of people are probably fit and healthy, but they don't realise that your gut plays such an important part in your immunity, and how just improving it that little bit. Obviously we've got products that promote health and well-being, so anybody who's feeling a bit under the weather was suddenly interested. And people are thinking, gosh, when I come out of lockdown, I've let myself go, what can I do to look a little bit better? We can get better skin, we know, by drinking the aloe for a short time. You do get the aloe glow. Next slide, please. Thank you. My C9 sales came from actually a couple across the road. I can see their house now as I'm talking to you. I spoke to the wife, and she said, oh yeah, I'll get my husband on board. So that was a no-brainer. And now they've gone on to remain gel drinkers, and they've actually bought the shake as well to use an occasional shake. I spoke to a nurse, which led to 4 key workers buying the C9 C9. She was working 12-hour shifts. She was not eating properly. She wanted more energy. She was just snacking on junky foods. And she just wanted to share with some of her friends. And suddenly there were 4 of them. And I obviously had a previous C9 customer that came back. 2 have actually gone on to become FBOs because they want to use the products for themselves and for their family. So they obviously want the discount. 3 remain gel drinkers. And 2 continue to use the Forever Light shake. So be aware of what our products can lead to. Next slide, please. The other popular products that I found were the hand soap and the propolis cream. Obviously, all these people that were increasing their hand washing. I don't know what people were doing before. We should have been washing our hands anyway. But obviously, using the hand sanitizers and things, people have been struggling. And people don't know the effects of the soap. Obviously, our soap is pH balanced to our skin, so it's much more gentle. And a lot of people weren't aware of that. Our soap goes a long way instead of buying the cheap brands off the shelves. And I think the Pro B capsules have been very, very underused. A lot of people don't realise, well, as I've said already, that 70% of your immune system is in your gut. And along with the drinking gel, I like to promote the Pro B capsules for the first month, especially because I think you're going to improve your gut flora, get rid of the balance between the bad bacteria and the good bacteria. The good bacteria will flourish. And if you're taking the Pro B, it's going to give you that extra enhancement. So I always tend to drop that in my first sale. And obviously, not many people take supplements. So if they're not interested in the drinking gel, they don't like the taste of the gel, there's always the Forever Daily. Next slide, please. Thank you. So basically, it's just a matter of sharing is caring. And there's never been a more important time than now to share with everybody. Be genuine, be honest, you're using the products. And we don't need to make claims about our products because they do speak for themselves. Thank you for listening, and I'll pass you back to Emma.
Thanks, Sheila. Thank you very much. Amazing. And I'm just going to quickly answer. A few of you asked a question, so I'm quickly going to answer before I hand back to Chris about my product page. So my page on Facebook isn't a like page, so it's an actual private group. So I've got full control of who is in there. So I can add people in myself, and they have to accept the invite. Or if people then refer people to me, I have to accept them in. So I've got full control. So hopefully that answers a few of you asked that question. So I'm now going to hand back to Chris, who's going to introduce the next speaker. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Sheila. Absolutely amazing. Just £6,896 retailing. And all in our control. So just exceptional. And I just wanted to really reiterate about the 60-day money-back guarantee. I know that our samples are out of stock right now, and of course there's been a massive increase in sales of samples as we've all been in lockdown and we've been sending samples out. But I was taught right when I started my business that every single product in Forever is a sample because of our 60-day money-back guarantee. And so, as Emma said, nobody's got anything to lose. We have nothing to lose by having that confidence to say, try the product, empty the tub, empty the tube. You're not happy in any way, 60-day money-back guarantee. So don't reduce your activity because there aren't any samples in stock right now. We'll have them as soon as we can have them. The US are focused on getting samples to us as soon as they can, but we don't need to wait. Every product is a sample. So thanks, guys. Some great, great tips there. So to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Amy Hesker, and Amy's going to talk to us about how being in the club is going to boost our business. Amy is an ex-teacher. She's a mum to Casper and Arlo, and she started her business to top up her part-time income. In doing that, she's been able to retire from teaching altogether at the tender age of 30. How amazing is that? She builds her business in nooks and crannies around the boys and is earning now an income that she never imagined, never thought possible when she first joined Forever. So over to you, Amy. Are you there?
Hi everybody, I hope that you are having a fantastic morning for the Forever's Excellence Roadshow. It is my honour to have been asked to come on and chat to you through a little bit about one of my favourite parts of this business, and that is the incentives that are on offer to us. Before I get going, I am just going to introduce myself. I am Amy Hesketh, and I have had my business with Forever now for just over 3 years. I was a teacher when I came across this business, actually fell upon it, but I was actively seeking a secondary income because I was due back to the classroom full time, but I didn't want to be. I wanted to be able to spend more time at home with my little boy Casper than in the classroom with other people's children. When I came across Forever, I was a little bit sceptical. I'd never heard of the company or the products before, but when I took a look at the information, even though I was extremely nervous, I could see that the business would enable me the £400 to £500 a month that I was looking for. I didn't overthink it, and I think that is what I have learned to do throughout these 3 years. Just in general with this business is not to overthink, is to just do, and that is exactly how I started my journey. I went for it, and within 2.5 months I'd hit the supervisor position, which meant I was earning the £400 to £500 a month I needed to enable me to then halve my hours in the classroom. I carried on my business. I loved it, which was a massive surprise to me, but I did, and I continued to work, and around me noticed that other people were earning incredible full-time incomes from this and hitting some incredible incentives along the way. And my attitude was that if all these people can do it, then why can't I? So I got to work. I worked a little bit harder, and in that time discovered that I was pregnant with our second little boy, and I wanted to give myself the option to not return to work at all, to hand in my notice. And that happened. So I got to work. Within 13 months of starting, I'd hit the manager position and the marketing plan, which was going to enable me the replacement income that I needed. And that's exactly what I did. So as of September last year, I've been a full-time mummy to my 2 little boys, Casper and Arlo, working my business in the nooks and crannies of my day around them, and have gone on to more than replace a full-time teaching income and hitting some of those incredible incentives along the way that I was seeing so many other people achieve. I've been asked today to come on and talk to you about 50 Club, why 50 Club is an important incentive to have on your goal board, what it will mean for your business, and what it has gone on to allow me to achieve past 50 Club as well. What I'm just going to go through with you quickly is all of the incentives. You'll find them on Forever Knowledge, and one of my biggest pieces of advice would be to go and take a look at them. As a business owner, it's your responsibility to know what incentives are on offer to you, and they are there for the taking. So why are they not on your goal board? Why are you not working towards them? When I first started, I didn't understand, like many people, I don't think, the importance of them and how they are structured to enable us to grow our businesses. As we hit one, we are structured to hit the next and the next and the next. And 50 case credits for some of you right now might seem like a really long way off. I know that they did for me when I started my business. So it's really important to focus on the stepping stones to the bigger incentives. The 4 case credit clubs, level 1, 2 and 3, the team building incentives, level 1, 2 and 3, they both interlink, bearing in mind that you get 2 case credits for bringing somebody into your business. If you're focusing on the team building incentives, you are going to be hitting the 4 case credit level incentives, because those 2 case credits count towards those 4 case credits. So if you're wanting to build and manage a business, then it's really, really important to be focusing on those. And what they open up to you then are the club levels, the 50 club, the 75 club and the 100 club, which will then set you up very nicely to go on and achieve the huge incentives of Eagle Manager, Car Plan and Chairman's Bonus and Global Rally. What I found was that when I hit Manager, I needed a new focus, because those bigger incentives, the travel incentives, the car plan, they seemed a little bit far off for me. So what I decided to do was use 50 Club as a stepping stone, as a springboard, so that I could set my business up to go on and achieve those other incentives. If you're not yet a manager, what I would advise you massively to do is go and look at the 50 Club incentive, the 75 Club incentive, and the 100 Club incentive, no matter how far off they feel. Because if you are building towards a manager business and you have 50 Club as your focus, what you are going to find is you are along the way going to hit manager, because 50 case credits 3 months in a row is the 150 case credits you need to achieve manager. But what you're going to find is you are going to have set up a manager business that is going to very quickly allow you to build up that momentum to go on and achieve the higher club incentives, but also things like Eagle, which on average works out at about 60 case credits a month for the year of the incentive period. What I'm going to do now is show you what 50 case credits, 50 open case credits, so any case credits outside of a manager business you have within your team, is going to see you in 100 Club if you hit 50 case credits 3 months in a row is level 1, 6 months in a row is level 2, and so on and so forth. What 50 case credits looks like, if you split it equally, is you yourself being 4 case credit active and you having 12 team members that are also 4 case credit active. What that is going to see you is being just over 50 case credits open, which will see the beginning of your 50 Club journey. However, what we know within this business is that it isn't a straight road. It isn't always as black and white as this. And this is exactly what I found myself. So when I first became manager, I was doing 4 to 5 to 6 case credits personal myself. But when I went back and looked at my figures for my months leading up to 50 Club, what had happened was, because 50 Club was my focus and I realised that I could massively influence those case credits myself, I started to see growth. What you can see on this slide are my personal figures from the beginning of 2019. This was when I realised that doing 4 to 5 case credits a month personal wasn't going to see me into 50 Club. So definitely wasn't going to see me onto the bigger incentives like Eagle, where I needed to be hitting the 60 case credits a month on average to hit that incentive. So when you look back on my journey into 50 Club, which started the second half of last year, you can see that March, April and May were between 5 and 7 case credits personal. My aim within my business every single month is to bring at least 1 new person into my team. Well, it was. That was my goal, until I realised that bringing 1 new person into my team wasn't going to bring me the growth that I wanted to see, because it wasn't going to enable me to find the people that wanted to be 4 case credit active every month, that wanted to go on to build a supervisor and manage a business and beyond. So from March, I got to work making sure I was sponsoring at least 2 people a month, preferably more, into my business to find those people that wanted to work. And as you can see, my business did start to grow. It wasn't instant, and this is really important to realise, is that the work you put in now, you're going to see the results from that. Maybe not instantly, but there's always a lead-up period. So don't give up if you're not seeing the results instantly. Please keep going. And that's for whether you are building a manager business or you're already a manager wanting to move on to the incentives. You've got to focus on what you are doing now, but divorce the outcome and just marry the process. And that's exactly what I had to do to enable me to see past the 30 to 40 case credits I was seeing here to get me to the 50 Club, which is where I really wanted to be. As you can see, they grew gradually across March, April and May until I got to June. And there was my massive personal jump of 10.229 case credits. Now just think, you are aiming here for 50 case credits to start to be in 50 Club. 50 case credits you have so much influence over, because if you yourself are doing 10 of them, that's a fifth of what you need done yourself. And this is where the magic happened. Because of the work that I had put in at the beginning of 2019, when I got to August, I didn't just hit my 50, I surpassed my 50. And that is called momentum. I was building the momentum the first half of my 2019 to work towards 50 Club. And when I got there, I didn't just get there, I went past it. And you will find the exact same thing will happen to you if you are willing to put the legwork in to get there and keep the momentum going. Because as you can see, my personal case credits are still 10 or above, or just shy of, throughout August, September and October. And that was when I hit my 50 Club level 1 pin. So the most important thing to remember in all of this is set the goal to be there. Know that what you have to do to achieve it is to influence your case credits yourself. If you are doing 10 case credits a month personal, you are going to be leading from the front. You are going to be showing your team your work ethic, what you are doing to find your retail, what you are doing to bring in new team into your business. And what you are doing, your team will follow and do, which ultimately will see you grow and manage a business and beyond. This is where it got really exciting though, because I'd achieved 50 Club level 1, and obviously I wanted to keep it up. I will point out to you that, as I said before, this isn't a straight line, and it never is within this business. It's always a roller coaster. So my August, I surpassed my 50, nearly hitting 60, but September, I didn't see an increase. My business actually dropped. But at that point, I didn't take a step back. I didn't take my foot off the pedal, because I knew that I wanted Eagle Manager. Eagle Manager was on my goal board, and I absolutely wanted to get there no matter what. And to get there, I knew that I needed to stay in 50 Club. By staying in 50 Club and building the momentum of being in 50 Club meant that I achieved over 60 case credits in October, which is what I needed to be on track for Eagle. So all of the incentives interlink together. The momentum that you are going to build from aiming to be in 50 Club and staying in there is going to go on to set your business up so that you can achieve above and beyond what you are initially working towards. The most important thing about aiming for any incentive in this business or any promotion in this business is leading from the front. You always need to plan and do more than what you would expect your team to do. Not everybody comes into this business wanting from it what you want. The key is to influence your own business through your own personal case credits. And you can do that by retailing 4 to 6 case credits every month and sponsoring 2 to 3 people into your business every month. That's going to see you a massive 10 to 12 personal case credits any month in your business. And like the 4 case credit levels, aiming to be consistently at the 4 case credit active and above for those 12 months, it's just the same. It becomes a habit. Once you start seeing yourself 10 to 12 personally active with your case credits, that's going to become a habit for you. That is going to be what you are doing in and out every single month. And how perfect is that for your team to be seeing and witnessing you achieve? Because ultimately in this business, and I think it's what's enabled my business to grow, is that I have seen people achieve. And that makes me know that if these people are achieving it around me, then I absolutely can achieve it too. So please, if manager is on your goal board, if the incentives are on your goal board, aim for more than 4. Aim for 10 to 12, because this is where the magic really happened for me. When I look back at my journey to manager, my 4 months to manager, I was personally active 10 to 12 case credits because I knew I had to influence those case credits. And I think that's the excitement, the momentum is built on your way to manager. And sometimes when we hit a promotion within our business, we get that overwhelming feeling of, oh, we've made it. And I know this because I did exactly the same thing. Looking back now, if I'd have had 50 Club as a massive focus before I got to manager, it would have been the next stepping stone for me to allow me to build the path I needed to then go on and hit the bigger incentives sooner than I have. And everybody's journey is different, and that is absolutely fine. But from my own personal experience and looking back on how I've built my business, my biggest piece of advice to you as somebody who is going on to build a manager business, and manager is a massive goal for you, have 50 Club on your goal board on the route to manager. And if you are already a manager, get it on there, because it's your stepping stone between hitting your manager position and then going on to achieve the other incentives. What 50 Club also means is the income. You are going to be earning an incredible full-time income from your business being in 50 Club. And the momentum that you see will go on to this. The most incredible thing has happened from me having a focus on 50 Club, a focus that took a while to build. It was hard work getting there, and it was hard work staying in there because I was constantly leading from the front. But from consistently being 10 plus case credit active a month, massively influencing my 50 case credits for being in 50 Club and leading from the front, what my business has gone on to achieve, I still have to pinch myself. So in April of this year, I hit my Eagle Manager goal, my goal that has been on my goal board for a couple of years now. But what springboarded me to it was having the focus of 50 Club. It meant that I was building a business that was going to, on average, be seeing 60 case credits a month. And because I had a massive, massive focus on bringing new people into my team, it also meant that I saw the 2 supervisors come through in the qualification period that I needed also to hit my Eagle Manager. I've gone on to achieve car plan level 1. So the momentum that I built from focusing on 50 Club meant that not only have I surpassed 75 Club, I went straight into 100 Club, achieving level 1 last month, but it also enabled me to build that momentum for my 50, 100 and 150 case credits to hit my car plan level 1. What it's also done is set up my business though. And I think this is really important to remember on your journey to manager and beyond. What you are doing now, the work you are doing now, and the momentum you are building now is setting you up to go on and achieve the bigger incentives. So not only have I achieved incentives along the way from having 50 Club as a focus, my business is now set up. My business is set up for me to achieve Global Rally by the end of the year, but also I now have a chairman's bonus leg in place. And what I am coaching any of my managers who are coming through now, and my current manager, is to aim for 50 Club. Build a manager business on it and stick with it, aiming to stay in 50 Club when you hit manager. Because ultimately what that is going to mean is your business is going to grow and grow and grow. The incentives are designed to interlink together. We are so fortunate, we are so lucky to be a part of a business where the incentives have been so cleverly thought out for us. So I promise you, 50 Club for me has been a life-changing incentive that I worked hard towards. It hasn't always been the straight line that we want it to be. It's definitely been a roller coaster along the way, but it has been a core incentive for me to set my business up to be where I want to be now and where I am aiming to be in the future. So if you don't have it on there, go check it out. Go and check out exactly what you need to do. 50 open case credits, and I absolutely promise you it is going to set you up for the most exciting journey with this incredible business. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of the morning and hopefully see you all really soon. Bye.
Brilliant. Oh, brilliant job, Amy. And can't you just feel how excited Amy is about her business? And some great messages there. Remember, there's always a lead time. Many of you are going to be on the webinar this morning, getting all excited and committing to more activity. And then the results don't come next week or the week after. That disappointment clicks in. So remember, 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks lead time sometimes. So now it's time to get started. Always be the best, most active team member. Never work to the minimums. You know, often I hear people say to me, oh, my business isn't going well, the team aren't doing it. Are you doing it? Sometimes we have to take a checkup from the neck up. We have to stand in front of that mirror and say, am I leading from the front? You can't drive a car from the back seat. So we have to be the best team member that are in the team. So brilliant, brilliant. We got some more winners. Exciting. So I forgot to read 4 out, so now we've got 7. How exciting is that? So these people are all winners of a pack of biocellulose masks. We have Andrew Seal, Christine Hooper, Jamina Qureshi, Roger Kennedy, Joanna Roundtree, Mike Williams, and Victoria Toten. Well done, everyone. Remember, you can win biocellulose masks just from staying with us. How exciting is that? Also, don't forget, keep posting that hashtag Forever Excellence, and you could be winning even more prizes. Okay, so now I am going to introduce our next speaker, none other than Sapphire Manager Lisa Williams. And well, what can I say about Lisa? So joined in February 2014. When she started, Lisa got to grips with the product. She was one of those people who immersed herself in the product range. And by doing that, ensuring that she used them regularly, it really helped to build her confidence, because of course the products underpin everything that we do. Lisa went on to build a manager business, and after reaching manager, learning the basics, all her energy went into building her team. Lisa's built a hugely successful business. She's qualified for all the incentives, including Global Rally and Chairman's Bonus. And I can think of no one better to take us through recruiting, particularly bearing in mind that I think Lisa's been the top recruiter last month. So over to you, Lisa. Are you there?
I am. Good morning, Chris, and good morning, Forever UK. Hope everyone is having a great Saturday. What an amazing load of fantastic content this morning. My pen has been going really fast, taking loads of notes. Incredible. And my job this morning is to share some words of wisdom and some of my top tips on recruitment. So what I've done this morning is just, you know, so you've heard this, you heard Chris and you heard Bob this morning talking right at the very beginning about being disciplined in your business, practicing a few simple steps each day. And I've taken that quote from Jim Rohn: success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And if you can get that discipline into your life, whatever that time looks like for you. We've all got different amounts of time. We've all got different circumstances going on in our life, but it's that consistent amount of time that you're committed into putting into your business that will really, really make the difference. And you can't compare your journey to other people's either, because somebody could be working this business 4 hours a day where you might just get 40 minutes a day. So I think, you know, just as we start as well, is please don't compare yourself to others, because a lot of people can fall in that trap and think, well, it's working for them and it's not working for me. Be inspired by those people rather than feeling deflated, because you can do it too. And that, you know, the more disciplined you are over that period of time, you're going to see results. Now, results take time to develop. You've just heard Amy say that. You know, she said, you're not going to see instant results. And it's such a shame. And I think understanding that concept as early on as possible when you come into your business, and realizing that, you know, will give you the vision, hopefully, and sticking with that discipline and the activity, because you know, you're not going to see instant results, particularly when it comes to recruitment. You might get really lucky, and if you do, that's fantastic, but this takes time to develop and consistency to maintain. It's like a health and fitness journey. You can't just walk into a gym, do a workout for an hour, and then go back in 3 months' time and do another workout and expect to see your body change. If you're going in consistently, whether that's daily, whether that's 3 times a week, whether that's 5 times a week, over a 12-month period or a 6-month period, you're definitely going to start seeing the results of the work that you're doing. And it's definitely the same in our industry and in our work. And that can be with products, developing relationships with customers, and also when it comes to sharing the opportunity. You know, as long as we are doing our job and letting go of the outcome, that's what we need to be doing, and trusting the process. This business is 42 years old now. You know, there's people like Chris who's been in it for 22 years. Like, that was my biggest driver when I got started. I looked at these people who have been in the business for a long, long time, and you've got to realize that the only difference between, you know, someone like you or someone like me and Chris is time, you know. So you've got to give it that time. And I think that just really, I'm inspired by people who've been in the business for long periods of time like Chris, because I just think, wow, you've stuck at it. You've shown us all what is possible. So, you know, results take time. Just know that it's not a race, it's a marathon. So my question to you all today is, what gear are you in? You know, 2020 has been a very, very strange year. It really, really has. Nobody expected to happen what has happened. And I suppose we're approaching the summer months, and, you know, you've just heard from Amy talking about how she didn't see instant results, how she put that time and effort in. She decided at the start of that year to get consistent in what she was doing and push herself in her own personal case credits that little bit further. So what Amy decided to do was personally step up a gear. And my question to you all today would be, is where do you want your business to be on the 31st of January 2020? Because the work that you do now and prepare yourself for, and be consistent and make that commitment to be consistent from now right up until the end of the year, and maybe step up a gear, you will be in a very different place by the time it gets to December the 31st, 2020. What that will do is it will set you up for 2021. You know, you can see, you know, I'll refer to Amy because it's very relevant as well. She decided in 2019 she was going to step up a gear, and now she's ready. And, you know, by doing that, she's set up for chairman's bonus. She's set up for global rally. She's got a chairman's bonus leg in place. She's become an Eagle manager because she stepped up a gear in herself and she remained consistent. Now, with this gear change, it depends on what you want, and it depends on what your goals are. Because again, that's why you can't compare yourself to other people, because their goals are going to be different to your goals. So decide what you want, and maybe do some goal mapping now and look at where you want your business to be linked to your goals by the time you get to the 31st of January. And let that drive you. Let that be the reason that'll either make you step up a gear or remain where you are, because you are in control, 100% in control. So when it comes to recruitment and, you know, deciding to step up a gear and going for it, you need to be prepared. You need to have your tools in place. So when it comes to recruitment, in particular, you've got to have things ready to go. Don't just start today and not be organized. The most important and fundamental document in your business, this should be like, you know, in a safe place all of the time. If I lost my who do you know list, oh my goodness, I would just be like, I wouldn't cope. So have you got a current and up-to-date who do you know list? Because if you haven't, you're not going to be able to do this, okay? And I now will not work with anyone who does not have their who do you know list, because how can I help them to build a business and start sharing the opportunity if they have not got their list in place? We need that list. We are in network marketing, and that who do you know list is your network on paper, and that will become a growing document for you. Have you got, you know, 5-minute opportunity links? We've been in lockdown, so we have been working online a lot more, but there's nothing to stop us picking up the phone and talking to people. So if you haven't got a 5-minute link, have you maybe done something with your upline manager, your sponsor, your team, where you can pick up the phone and give somebody a brief overview of the business in 5 minutes? Recorded business presentations. Every single week, Forever Living UK are offering a live business presentation. Do you know where it is? Are you plugging into it? Are you making sure you've got guests on there? It might be that you've got an opportunity group, website link, shop link, online product brochures. People might want to have a browse through the products first. So be prepared. A lot of these things and links I keep in the notes section of my phone so I can have them handy, but you need your tools in place. What you don't want to be doing is faffing around, I suppose. If someone's asking for a product brochure and you've then got to go and find it, get organized now. It will make everything happen so much swifter for you, okay? So get your tools in place, and the most important one is that who do you know list. Building relationships is absolutely key, particularly when it comes to sharing the opportunity. I've been involved with Forever now for almost 7 years, 7 years in January. And one thing that I have learned is that who do you know list will never, ever run out. And that who do you know list is not a document that you put away once you've gone through that entire list. That is always going to be a working document, because when you are sharing or inviting people to take a look at our opportunity, if that person doesn't respond to your invitation, or if that person says, no, thank you, I'm fine, that's great, but you have to nurture and build a relationship with people, because actually there's got to be trust there. It's a bit like a marriage. You're not going to meet somebody and marry them straight away and make that big commitment. If you're, you know, speaking to someone who you haven't spoken to for a long time, reaching out and inviting them, yeah, they might ignore your message because they might feel that little bit uncomfortable in replying to you. So you've got to work and build and nurture relationships, and that is absolutely key. I've just had a lady join my team recently. I think she's actually on the call this morning, so she's already been a great student. She has looked at this business. Well, the first time she looked at it was 3 years ago. Three whole years ago. We you know, that was the time we first had our chat. What I have never done is brushed this lady under the carpet. I've never done that. I've taken an interest in her life without stalking her, but I've been, you know, engaging with her. And I think, you know, she might say other, but what that's done is that's built her trust in me. It's built her trust in the company. She can see that I'm not a person who's just given something a go. I take it seriously. So that relationship can happen like that as well. So nurture relationships. It's absolutely key, because people will come when they trust you. They see that you're still consistent in what you're doing, because I think that's key as well. And when the time is right for them, that's when things will change. So the Who Do You Know list, such an important document. I literally could not live without this. And I follow first steps to manager. I don't change anything around. We've all got the same system. But what I like to do for my own peace of mind is when I'm working through my list and I am inviting people to take a look at the opportunity, because that's how I see it in my head. My job is to invite people to take a look. What I will do in the time that I set each day, or in my level of consistency, is I will work through my list, but I will also put a tick next to each person's name, so I know that I have done my job. I've invited that person, and this is what I'm encouraging all of my new team to do, and existing team, and the results have been exceptional, because it's almost like, yep, I am doing my job. I know who I'm talking to each day. It's there. I'm ticking it off as I go. And of course, not everyone is going to respond to those invitations. But the second thing that I do is when people do respond, immediately I highlight them yellow. I highlight them yellow because in my eyes, it's an amber kind of, not a warning, but like an amber code to say there is a need. Because if there's not a need, that person would have probably just not responded to the invitation, okay? And I like to see at a glance all my people who have responded from my Who Do You Know list. And then I'm going to convert them over to my tracker as well, so that I've got that document running alongside. And as people get registered, I highlight them green. Now, that is the most simplest system in the world, isn't it? So you sit down, you go to work, you're going to start inviting people to take a look, you're going to start building relationships, you're going to start engaging in conversation with people. And as you do that, you're going to be ticking through, so you know those people that you've started to engage with, okay? That's it. That's all I've done. But what I would say is I've done that more so the past 2 years than what I've ever done. And the difference has been phenomenal. You know, I kind of winged the first couple of years of this business. I didn't really have my list properly written down, and I'll say that. I just was guessing people, and actually it turned out okay because the business did duplicate, but I am so more efficient, and I'm so much more productive with my time. I was running around like a headless chicken in the first 2 years. Now I have this, it's massively helped with time management, and it makes you more productive in using that time. Because if you sit down and you think, right, I'm going to engage and invite 10 people, you've got your list and you can work through that. And you can go back to these people as well. You know, in a year's time, somebody on that list, their circumstances might have changed, so the follow-up is key too. Now, I've used Facebook a lot for my kind of network choice. There are so many different social media platforms. What I would say is become good at one before you move on to another, because again, that can really impact on your productive time that you've got available to work your forever business. And if you're trying to dabble in Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, you're going to feel a little bit like, oh, lost. So I've stuck with Facebook, and you know, people have said, oh, you want to be moving on to different things. When the time is right for me, I will. But Facebook works great for me because it's got 2.4 billion users. You know, we're working very much online, and in this past few months, it's all we've done. You know, it's got 2.4 billion users. There is a massive access to thousands of groups to be able to network in. I think in the past I've talked about the French Bulldog group that I'm part of, because I've got a French Bulldog group. I've got an African Grey Parrot who's had a bit of an injury lately. I've recently joined an African Grey Parrot group. My goodness, there are 100,000 people in this African Grey Parrot group. So I'm in there and I'm building relationships with people, and I'm, you know, making friends. I'm collecting friends. You've also got your you know, everything's in one place with Facebook. You know, you've got your team pages, opportunity pages, everything's just there. So it's my choice. So, you know, I just wanted to touch on social media there because we are working a little bit more digitally now than what we ever have done. But again, it's not the be all and end all. We still need to build those relationships when we get a little bit more access in the outside world. But you can make a lot of friendships on Facebook, I believe, as well. So get good at mastering your social media platforms. Now, what I wanted to do is just give you some statistics on some work that I've done during the lockdown period. I decided in March I could either mope at home and just kind of sit around and hope that things will improve in life, or I could embrace the time that we have available of people being at home. And that's not to prey on the vulnerable at all. This is just stepping up my activity and getting myself into a different gear and making it a bit of a commitment to myself. And, you know, like I said at the start, when you ask yourself what gear in, the work that you do from now, from today, if you step up a gear right up until the end of the year, or you might want to do what I did and really, really, really step up a gear for a short period of time, it will see you in a very different place in 6 months' time, 100%. And, you know, stats don't lie. So on the 1st of, well, not on the 1st of May, but throughout April, actually probably March, I started to think about this, started to think, right, I'm going to get myself into 5th gear. I was probably hovering around 3rd gear. I had more help at home with kids and things like that. So I was able to really get my head down and go to work. And the results were phenomenal just from following the simple system. Really, really going back and following up, because people's circumstances are changing now. So you haven't lost anything. We are in very, very uncertain times. And if you treat people with dignity and respect and invite people in the right way, so that they can see you might be able to give them something which might help, you can make this year fantastic. We've seen the growth in our company right now. In fact, network marketing as an industry is just rocketing. So go for it, because if I can, you can. So in May, from stepping up a gear and really deciding in March, I actually sponsored 20 assistant supervisors. That gave me 40 personal case credits. Now, those people came from a mixture of places. 11 came from new leads, from using social media to network and engage with new people and collect new friends. And 11 came from following up from different contacts as well. The compound effect of what I did in April and May led on to June. In June, I moved house, okay? So I was in the middle of moving house. I knew I had a short time period to really step up a gear. So I didn't really have time to do that piece of work again and really, really, you know, invite and follow up. So that just was off the back of the work that I did in April and May, that 10 people joined the business in June as well. So in total, over a 2-month period, 30 brand new assistant supervisors. I've not done anything special. I've not done anything different. I've just put probably a lot more time into it. So assess what time you have got to step up into that gear and put the work in, because honestly, it is phenomenal what can happen. So these are my recruitment results over the last, well, from 2019 to 20. In the whole of 2019, I sponsored 16 people. So far in 2020, I've sponsored 39. Now look at the new business case credits. Now I'm a manager, you know, I've got quite a big business. I've got managers in my team. I like to measure my business and always progress forward on the work that I personally do in bringing in new case credits. So I'll always set myself back as an assistant supervisor, set a time and say, right, and I'll tell myself, I've just bought my box, I'm starting again. So the new case credits from this year's work have been 332, and last year against 207. Now, what the results of myself sponsoring 20 new people is that we've had 13 second generation. I think these have increased slightly actually since these slides were produced, and 1 third generation. So we're starting to get some duplication. What am I doing? I'm putting my new 20 business owners on that system that I showed, using the who do you know list and trackers, because if you're not inviting people, you're not going to get anywhere. And you know, you can decide what you want to do for yourself. When you do the work, it works. What that led to my business was a result of an increase of 150% in non-manager case credits. Some more amazing compound effect, 4 brand new supervisors in June. We just had another one come through yesterday, and we should have another one coming through in just a couple of days. So when you decide to step up a gear, like I've done, like Amy said she did, look at what you can do. Know your goals, know where you want to be by the end of this year, and my goodness, you can be in a very, very different place. Trust the process, let go of the outcome, do the work, and it will work. So where am I at? Sorry, I'm getting off. Yeah, so the system is a way of working. The system is first steps to manager. It's doing something which follows a fixed set of plan or a set of rules. That is it. And that's exactly, hopefully, what I've shown you. Nothing overcomplicated. Have your tools in place. Get your who do you know list. Start working it. And, you know, I've just had somebody get started again at the end of June. Somebody who I was on my chicken list. Literally, they've been on my list for 6.5 years. I've never, ever once invited them to take a look at the opportunity. My assumption was they don't want it. That was my assumption. How awful of me is that to make that assumption? Because in March, I decided, what have I got to lose? Do the work, Lisa, let go of the outcome. What's the worst thing that can happen? I invited them to take a look at the business. We met for a coffee in March. COVID-19 hit, the end of June, decided to join, did the first online launch, 3 case credits from that, and she's just sponsored her first team member last night. So do not skip past that chicken list, go for it. Okay, I don't know how long I've been on for, I'm so sorry. I have got some special guests. Let me just stop sharing my slides now. So I've got some special guests that I wanted to bring on. My first guest speaker is a lady who has been part of my team for the last 4 years. She's absolutely amazing, but something has changed for her this year. So I'm going to invite Catherine Hughes on, and she is going to share just very, very quickly how she has seen huge growth and duplication in her business this year. So Catherine, are you there? Hopefully she is. Are you there, Catherine?
Me?
We can.
I can't turn my video on.
That's okay. We can see a beautiful picture and we can hear you loud and clear.
It's just saying the host has stopped my video. Okay, hang on. Fine.
Oh, there she looks beautiful as well. Good morning, Catherine. So Catherine, you know, you've been in the business for 4.5 years. Your business has sat at the same place for a long time. And I know you won't mind me sharing that, because what you're going to be able to tell people is going to see, you know, the change that you've made. What's changed for you and what's changed in your business?
Well, I think when I finished in December last year, And I think a lot of the team already thought I was a manager, which I wasn't. And I think I felt a bit of a fraud. And I finished December on 12 case credits. That was the whole of my team. And that is not the business that I wanted. And I started January and I just thought, I can't finish another year like that. If things don't change for me, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do it anymore, which was drastic. But when I actually looked at what I was doing, I realized I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't being consistent. I had goals, but I wasn't working towards them properly. It was like I was trying to swim through concrete. I just wasn't doing what I needed to do and get where I needed to get to. So when January started, I thought, that's it. I'm going to be super committed, consistent. I'm going to make sure that this year, December will look completely different. Otherwise, that's it. I'm just going to stop.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
And what changed?
I got to work. I got into...
What were you doing? What were you doing on a daily basis? Were you using that Who Do You Know list?
Yes, I was. I'd got all the tools already. I just wasn't using them. So, yeah, I do exactly the same as you, Lisa, because you've taught me to do it that way. I use my Who Do You Know list. I use a tracker. I colour code people when they're looking. I move them onto my tracker. I turn them green when they join. It's the simplest way to do it. It's so visual. You just need those two documents. But I was consistent. And I'd got a few accountability buddies. They are on this call and they're watching and they know who they are. And every day we would message each other. Have you done it? What have you done? How's your day? They're not in my team. They're not in my downline. But that's really, really helped me because I've committed to telling someone what I've done during the day.
Yeah.
So that helped me a lot. And I had a bit of a plan to get to manager by June. That was my goal. And I hit it in April.
Fantastic. So you've taken your business now from 11 case credits in December 2019 to just hitting 50 club level 1 now, which is amazing. So now that moment that you decided, this all interlinks with everything as this is flowing on today, has just been phenomenal. You've developed supervisors in that period, and I know you'd never developed a supervisor in 3 years, and that was kind of something that, you know, now you've had a few supervisors, another one coming through this month. And I think for you, Catherine, and I think for a lot of people who are listening, don't measure your business on the day that you bought your Start Your Journey box. Measure your business on the day that you decided to be consistent. Because a lot of people can say, well, I've been in the business for 3.5 years and I'm still in the same place. That was probably where you were, Catherine.
Yeah.
But what you've done now is actually you started properly in 2020.
Absolutely. I mean, I have got a really wide team. I've got a massively wide team. A lot of my team members are customers and they will order occasionally. They didn't order in December, clearly. I can recruit. I just haven't found those. And we talk about 5 key people all the time. I just hadn't found them. But what I've done now is I work more closely with the people I can see potential. It's not that I ignore the others. I absolutely don't. I will help anyone. I will help crossline anybody. I really will. But I can see such potential in there's a handful of people within my team, and it's so exciting for me when they're asking those great questions that you want your team to ask you. You know, how am I going to get my next promotion? What do I need to do to recruit this person? Can you just help me just do a call with them? Because they're so excited. I just need to, you know, just need your help to talk to them so we can answer some questions for them. And that, I think that excites me more about this business than anything else. It's helping those people. And I have got such amazing people in my team who are going to, I mean, they'll smash my business out of the park. They are going to have incredible business. I can see it. It's great.
Perfect. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Catherine.
Welcome.
And here's to a fantastic end to 2020 for you as well. 2021 is going to be even more exciting, but thank you very much and well done for deciding to decide and getting consistent.
Thank you.
So my next guest speaker is a lady from Wakefield. She joined the business. She bought her Start Your Journey box, actually, I should say, in March 2019. Very similar to Catherine in terms of she sat at a position. So Catherine was assistant manager for 3 years. Nikki has sat as a supervisor for a year, and she has also achieved manager during lockdown. So Nikki, what changed for you?
So obviously joining the business March 2019, I had a really successful first 3 months in the business. I was 4cc active, doing really well with my retail. I took a team member on in that time as well. Then month 4, as Chris and Bob mentioned right at the very beginning, we have so many ups and downs, and June was a real down for me. Being 4cc active, it was really good. I did 1.471 case credits in June, and I hit a low, and I thought, what's gone wrong? What's gone wrong? And I decided I did not want another month like June, and that couldn't happen again because I didn't want it to. So June 2019 was a real decider for me, and I thought, right, let's go for it. I sat down, I rewrote my whole who do you know list. I had one I wrote it out with my training to start with, but I felt it was a little bit disorganised and I wasn't doing it properly. So I rewrote it, and from there on I've been consistent. I've followed the whole process that, as Catherine said, you as our upline, as our mentor, you coach every single one of us in exactly the same way. We all follow that same process. Then, so in the July, when I decided to change things around, I hit supervisor. Actually, 12 months today is when I hit supervisor.
Congrats.
And then, so then, because I'd taken a team member on, and she was also following that process and duplicating, we were both doing what we needed to do. She came through as supervisor as well, and from there I sat at supervisor for 10 months. It was a hard slog. That I think the biggest climb is from supervisor to assistant manager. But even though financially I wasn't gaining very much because I had a supervisor at the same level as me, that didn't stop me. I knew where I wanted to be. I wanted to hit manager, and I continued to work hard. I do feel I've not recruited massively. I've recruited 6 people, but I do feel like I found my 5 key people, and they are just absolutely amazing. I have got an absolutely fantastic team, and honestly, every one of them makes me so proud. They're working, so I've got goosebumps now because I'm talking about them. They are absolutely amazing. So I haven't got the width in my team, but I have got depth. And then in June this year, was it June? Yes. June this year, I hit manager. I hit assistant manager in the May, and then bounced straight onto manager within that month, because we had great consistency within the whole team.
Yeah, so everybody in the team has been following the system. You've been following the system, doing your follow-ups, which meant new people got started with you to help you find yours, and that's just duplicated. So 2 similar stories, but different stories in terms of the way that their businesses are shaped. Catherine's is very wide, whereas Nikki's is quite narrow. And I wanted to bring that in because actually you have to, it's not about, Nikki now just stopping. Nikki has to be consistently sharing the opportunity to keep growing that, but so does Catherine. The work just stays the same, but businesses might be shaped differently as well. So there you go. Well, thank you very much, ladies, and congrats for being consistent, following that system, getting up a gear this year. And it just goes to show as well that it's working for more people. So thank you very much. I think I've totally ran over. I do apologise, but I'm now going to hand back over to Chris for our final amazing speaker of the day.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Catherine and Nikki. Absolutely brilliant. And as somebody's just put, I don't know that proof was needed that First Steps to Manager works. I think after 42 years, we've proven that, but you've proved it all again. So thank you so much. We've also got some more product to give away. Exciting. This time we're giving away hydrating serums. So the lucky winners: Neil Shepherd, Donna Ahern, Laurie Watson, Amara Campbell, Rena Mystery. Brilliant. Now don't forget, hashtag Forever Excellence, get onto social media, start posting, because that big prize, the targeted skincare, the whole of the targeted skincare range has not yet been won, and you could be a lucky winner. So stay with us. We're saving the best to last, and stay with us. You could be a winner. Keep posting those social media posts and you could be a winner. And even if you don't win a prize, you're a winner because of all the phenomenal information that we're having shared with us this morning. So my hand's hurting from all the notes I've written. Brilliant. So to our next speaker, what can I say about this legend, this young lady? Well, I'm now going to introduce you to someone who is directly responsible for that decision that I made 22 years ago when I went to a product launch and saw this lady talking about Forever products and the business that underpinned it. Diamond manager, GLT member, built a phenomenal worldwide business. I can't remember how many countries. I think it's over 50, but I'm sure Jane will tell us. A huge welcome. I can think of no one better to talk to us about the mindset of an entrepreneur than Diamond Manager Jane Leach. Are you there?
I am here, Chris. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. And wow, what an incredible morning. So many words of wisdom, so many nuggets, such authenticity, such honesty. It was really inspiring to listen to. And thank you for that very, very warm welcome, Chris. It sounds incredible when I listen to it, you know, Diamond Manager, GLT member, global business, kind of the whole 9 yards. And it wasn't always like that. So what I want to do is I want to, if I can, share with you a little bit about the start of my journey and how I have worked on myself to become the best version of me in order to build the best business. And I think that's something that we all need to look at when we make that connection with Forever. When we go beyond just making a bit of money or replacing a full-time income, when we want to go to great heights in Forever, then not only do we have to go on a Forever journey, but we have to go on a personal journey as well. So I want to share a little bit of my journey with you, what I've learned and what's been really relevant to building the kind of businesses I've built all around the world. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 minute. I think you can see. Okay, there we go. So I can remember as if it were yesterday when I went through that paradigm shift where you go from being stuck in a rut to recognizing there's more to life. And we all reach that inevitable crossroads in our life. It was 1992. I was a single mum with 2 tiny little boys. And I'd gone through a very, very nasty split, divorce. It was very acrimonious. And when I finally had the courage to leave that relationship and rent a particularly horrible little house and move to a different part of the country, my self-esteem, my belief, my self-worth, my confidence was at an all-time low. And I think that was as a direct result of having 10 years of quite hard mental abuse. However, there I was as a single mum with 2 little boys, and I was determined to provide for them. And at that time, I was working in farming and we were lambing. So it was that time of year when we were up all day, all night, lambing the ewes, doing what we were doing, and it was hard work. And alongside that, I was looking after my 2 little ones. And I can remember as if it were yesterday, coming home from the lambing sheds, and it was miserable, it was cold, it was wet. And you know, when you're so tired that the tiredness is in every pore, every bone, it just consumes you. You know, your working day, your working night, it's just almost too much. And I remember coming home at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, coming into the house, getting myself a hot coffee, and thinking to myself, you know, I need to go and get a shower, then I need to get the kids up and I need to get them off to school. And that was hard enough, just doing that, you know, getting the kids up, getting them off to school. And I remember coming back from school, the school run, and sitting in the house, and the postman had dropped some letters on the doormat. And I went to pick up the letters, and there were 4 of them. And the first one was an electricity bill. And I remember opening the electricity bill and thinking, oh my goodness, where am I going to find the money to pay this? The second one was car insurance. And I looked out the window at the car and I thought, it's not even worth insuring. I looked at the third one, which was a letter from my landlord, and he was telling me he was putting the rent up. And when I looked at the house I was renting, it wasn't even worth what I was paying at the moment, but he wanted to charge me more money. And you know, when your heart sinks and you think, where's this money coming from? But it was the 4th letter that had that paradigm shift that made me switch my thinking to realizing, come on, Jane, if I want my life to change, then I have to embrace that feeling and I have to make the change happen. Because it was a letter from the school and it was inviting the children to go on a day trip. And, you know, I look back and it was like £35, £40 per child, but I didn't have the money. I didn't have that kind of money to pay for them to go on the trip and then give them spending money and all the stuff that goes with it. And my 2 boys were the only 2 boys that didn't go on the school trip. And it was at that moment that I realized something had to change. You know, we can carry on living a life of mediocrity, or we can embrace change, and we can be the person that brings about all that can change in our lives. You see, we don't have to wait for somebody else to change our lives. We are the ones that make that decision. And it was a major paradigm shift for me. I realized that there must be a better way to what I was doing already. You know, and I looked at everything. At that moment when I realized that I needed to do something different, I looked at everything. The first thing I looked at was going to uni to study as a vet. You know, coming from a farming background, I'd always done a lot of my own veterinary work anyway. And I thought, you know what, I'll go and study and be a vet. I can make a lot of money being a vet. And then I realized it was a 7-year course. It needed a lot of investment. I got 2 little boys. I was a single mum. So that wasn't a reality. I looked at traditional business. I had a great idea to set up a traditional business. And then I looked at the investment required. And it was going to be sort of 10 to 15,000 just to get me going. And there was no guarantee of success. There was no help. There was no support. It would be just me and my good idea. So that wasn't really an option either. I looked at franchising, and a friend of mine had bought a franchise, and I thought, well, that's what I can do. I can buy a franchise. So I bought a franchise magazine. I started looking at all of that, and once again, major capital investment. And I just thought, wow, this is quite soulless and quite restrictive. You know, you've got boundaries, you've got, you've got restrictions, you've got so much competition. And I just thought, no, it's not for me. And I almost gave up on my dream. But isn't it funny that when you begin to put out to the universe that you want your life to change, that situations and people come into your life that enable you to make that change? But I think that that happens as a result of you deciding that you want your life to change. Because I always believe that when you decide to decide, that that's when the magic begins to happen. And I had made a big commitment to myself and to my kids that we weren't going to get by. We weren't just going to struggle and get by anymore, that I was going to find something and I was going to create the most amazing, wonderful, magical life. And as I say, it's incredible that when you put it out there, that the universe rearranges itself and the people do come into your life. But more importantly, maybe those people are there all the time. It's just we've not been open-minded enough to recognize situations, opportunity, or people when they present themselves to us. And it was really fascinating because, you know, once I'd made that decision, life was going to change. It didn't take me much longer to meet John. He came into my life. And I always say, how lucky can one man get to meet me and be with me? And then the other thing was, we found forever. And I remember, again, as if it were yesterday, having the phone call from a friend of ours who knew that I was looking for something. He'd come across Forever in Ireland. He'd used the products, got tremendous results. And as a result of the product for him, he looked at the opportunity and he thought, you know what, this would be amazing for Jane and for Jane and John. And it was absolutely incredible. We went to meet him, and it wasn't on a webinar. It wasn't in a hotel room. It wasn't anywhere particularly glamorous. It was at the services on the M1 at Toddington. And I remember we tucked ourselves in a corner and we began to look at the opportunity with Forever. And I must admit, you know, John was mega skeptical to begin with. And I was optimistically skeptical. In other words, what I mean was, it was amazing, but my lack of understanding was holding me back a little bit. And I remember that, you know, I had endless questions that I wanted answered. And I got those questions answered and we eventually registered. And when we registered with a very specific mindset. We registered with the mindset of, we have done our research, we have had our questions answered, we have gone into the marketing model, we have a clear understanding of what we're getting ourselves involved in. We believe this is our plan A, there is no plan B, this is it. So when we registered with Forever, we didn't register to give it a go, we didn't register to see if it would work, we didn't register for 1 year, and if it didn't work then we were going to quit. We registered to be successful. And I truly believe that when you join Forever and you have that kind of mindset, that when you register on the application form and you get your box, that you have a very different view and vision of the business than if you just say, well, I'll give it a go and see how it works. And I recognize this with so many people that I work with here in the UK and around the world. Mindset has a massive part to play in your success going forward. And that mindset has to start supporting you on day one, the minute that you register with the company. So there we were, we registered with Forever, we got our box, we brought it home, put it on the kitchen table. And I remember as clear as day, opening up the box, getting out all the products, getting so excited about the products. And then I took my first sip of this. Now, I call this the Mighty Midget. We didn't have the Mighty Midget package like this when I first started. It was in the yellow jug. And I remember opening up the lid and pouring a big glass and having a huge, huge drink of it and suddenly stopping. And I remember my eyes watering slightly. And I remember talking to John and saying, wow, this is an interesting product. I mean, I drink it now as if it's water. It's my second one today. And I said to him, we need to ring Chris because I think this product's gone off, and that money back guarantee, we need to get this product changed and get a new one. And I remember ringing up Chris and saying, Chris, you know, that bottle of gel, I think we need to change it for a fresh one because it's not tasting very good. And he laughed and he said, no, Jane, that's how the gel tastes. And I thought, oh my goodness, we're going to build a business with a product that tastes interesting. And we always laugh about that now. We look back fondly and laugh about that moment, because little did we know this yellow bottle of aloe with the first taste you take that's rather interesting was going to change our lives beyond all recognition. So as the journey began, I began to realize some things had to change. And one of the first things I realized had to change was, in order for me to be successful, I say me, it was us, but in order for me to be successful, I had to take complete responsibility for me, my actions, the business, and ultimately the results. And again, I think that's something really, really important. You know, we are blessed in Forever. I know a lot of people in a lot of other networks around the world. I'm very fortunate to know a lot of the big 6, 7, and 8 figure income earners around the world. And I have to say, I always am immensely proud to be part of Forever, because we are unique. Our coaching, our mentoring, our support, not just to each other, but that comes from the company. You know, just Rex sets such a wonderful example of looking after each other, watching out for each other, making sure we got each other's backs, making sure we're supporting and helping each other, you know, giving a little bit of TLC when it's needed, but also giving a little bit of tough love when it's needed as well. And I just think we're so unique in Forever that whilst we've got all this love and support around us, we also need to have a layer of, this is my business and I need to take full responsibility for it. And in the early days, as all the other speakers today have so eloquently shared with you, we need to share the product, share the opportunity, and then when we recruit people into our team, we need to share the products, share the opportunity, and teach them to do the same. And we also ourselves use an abundance of product. And again, I learned very quickly in the early days, you can't just use a little bit of product, you've got to use a lot of product. The product that you use, the product that you immerse yourself in, the product that you love, that you have a personal story, a family story, a customer story with, these are the products that you are going to share more than any other products into the marketplace. So I also learned very, very quickly not to overcomplicate things. Keep this really, really simple. Now, I'm going to be a bit controversial here. It was much easier to keep it simple 26 years ago than it is to keep it simple today. And the reason being is, when I first started in Forever, all we had was a box of products and a flip chart and a rather quaint phone that had a cable that went into a socket in the wall. We didn't have these smartphones. We didn't have Facebook, social media, webinars, internet like this. It really was a box of products, us, and a huge desire to be successful. So it was really easy to keep the whole process simple. And I think nowadays what I have noticed, and I do find, and one or two of the speakers have alluded to this, is that if we're not careful and a new FBO starts their Forever journey, it can be very overwhelming with the amount of content, the amount of information available on so many platforms across the internet and in printed format, that actually sometimes a new FBO doesn't even know where to start. They have very nicely trained themselves with all the theory, but they don't know where to start. And one of the things that I will tell you right now, theory is wonderful, but the practice, the practicality of using a product every day, sharing a product every day, sharing an opportunity every day, the very act of taking responsibility and doing something every day is where you're going to grow and thrive and achieve all of your goals. I also realised on my journey very early on that I had to change my thinking. And this was a really big one. And I think it's something that every single person needs to really think about. When I say change my thinking, I had to change my thinking from a job mentality to an entrepreneurial mentality. You see, I had to start thinking now about this was me and my business. And I think that very often, because of the way we grow up and the way that we're taught at school and the way that we're educated and further education and to get a job and to hold on to that job and to work hard and to get promotion and maybe, you know, move ourselves through the ranks and then eventually retire, that's a way of thinking that's been sort of taught to us through the years forever. And one thing you've got to bear in mind when you join Forever Living, you've got to change that way of thinking. You are no longer in an employed situation. You are now an entrepreneur. And when I think about the hours I worked when I was paid by a boss, and I think a lot of us are like this, I worked really, really, really hard. I was very conscientious, but no matter how hard I worked, I couldn't scale my income. You know, my boss paid me what he thought I was worth. In return, I worked really hard. But after 18 years of working hard in a job and still being financially broke, there comes a time when you've got to change that thinking. And you've got to start thinking about you. I had to start thinking about me. And I had to start thinking about having an entrepreneurial mindset. And in having an entrepreneurial mindset, in thinking differently, we can get the results that we're looking for that will be far, far greater than any job can give you. But you have to give yourself fully to the opportunity and fully to learning and fully to growing and developing. As I say, you can't just put your toe on the playing field and hope you're going to get results. You've got to play full out. You know, and Lisa shared that beautifully today by showing just what you can do by playing full on and a bit more. And if we look at money, money conditions the way that we live our life. Money conditions our lifestyle. Money conditions everything. And, you know, if you look at money, I don't believe that we need a wage. I believe that we need an income. Because in a job, you get a wage, and a wage will suppress you, and it won't allow you to ever be completely free. Whereas an income will liberate you and empower you and enable you to grow it to wherever you're prepared to work hard for and whatever you believe that you can achieve. So it's not about a wage, it's about developing an income. And that's the way an entrepreneur thinks. They think differently. So these are a few things that I learned early on in my career as an entrepreneur that have served me well and allowed me to get to the point I'm at today in building the kind of business that I've built, which I'll share with you at the end, by the way. So as an entrepreneur, you need to learn to have a passion for what you do. And that passion almost needs to become all-consuming. You know, it needs to get you up early in the morning. It needs to keep you up late at night. It needs to consume your thoughts. It needs to energize you. It needs to liberate you. But you need to be totally passionate about what you do, because when you are sharing product or opportunity, people buy you first. So if you are passionate, if you're excited, your energy, your charisma will shine through long before any of the information shines through about product or opportunity. And that's very attractive to people. People want to be around passionate, big thinking, ambitious, happy, energetic, fun people. And so I learned that the hard way in the early days. Because in the early days, you know, coming to Forever, I was in a state where my self-esteem was low, my self-belief was low. So therefore I was quite timid in the way that I was sharing the opportunity, which I know for many of you, you probably find that hard to believe. But I am a result today of what I decided to work on, and that was me. So I decided to embrace this need to work on me to become passionate, to overcome my insecurities, my personal challenges, my shyness, my worry and concern about what other people thought about me. I worked so hard on that, and I turned the challenge of being shy and quiet and worried and anxious into a real entrepreneurial spirit of I'm passionate, I'm proud, I'm going to be successful, and it really changed. People always want to talk to me. You need to have a big vision. You know, don't think and play small. Again, we're conditioned to live our lives based on the money that we make in a job. So most people shrink their dreams to match their income. And what we need to do in Forever, as we start our Forever businesses, is we need to grow our income to match our dreams, our goals, and our desires. So I think that you need to think bigger than just making a few £100, just replacing, you know, maybe your full-time income. Now, those are your first stepping stones, a few £100 and then replacing full-time incomes. But you've got to have a goal behind a goal behind a goal. And you've got to understand that Forever isn't just a local opportunity. Forever is a global opportunity. And it didn't take me too long to understand the concept of work local, think global. And now more so than ever, we are best placed to build a business online, locally, nationally, and globally. So have a big vision of what's possible. Don't just limit yourself to something on your doorstep. You know, it's a big world out there, and you're an entrepreneur, and you need to be on the playing field. You need to have very, very big goals. Your goals need to excite you and scare you a little bit all at the same time. Because if you have goals that don't stretch you, that don't empower you, that you don't connect with emotionally, it's easy to quit on them. It's actually really easy to quit on a goal that doesn't have much meaning. You know, I kind of like a new car. Well, I'd kind of like to make £500 a month. You know, it would be nice. You can't have a goal like that. You've got to have a specific goal. And it starts on day one with a need goal. What do you need right now? And for all of you who are on the call today, who are relatively new in the business, take right now till the end of the year and say, what do I need? What do I need to achieve in my Forever business to make me happy, to grow and develop me, and to make me realize that I can do this business? Now, that could be a sum of money. It could be a physical reward. It could be personal growth and development. But you need to say to yourself, I've got this next 6 months to put something in place that is going to allow me to springboard into 2021 to then look at the real want goals. And this is so, so important. You know, everything that you do today, this month, will actually impact the way you start next year. Everything you do in August will impact what happens in January, February. Everything that you do in September will impact the first quarter of next year because of the way the business grows each quarter, each half year, and then gathers momentum. So make sure that you've got some goals that truly and utterly empower you, and that you are prepared to work hard towards come what may. Now, these are your goals, nobody else's goals. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Entrepreneurs don't do that. They stick to their goals and they do whatever needs to be done. Now, my need goals when I first joined Forever was I needed £2,000 a month. I needed £2,000 a month so I could pay off the debt that I'd run up, that I could breathe, pay the bills, pay the rent, give the kids a half-decent quality of life, and just not have to go to bed worrying every single night, am I going to be able to put food on the table tomorrow? That was my need goal. And I was completely and utterly committed to achieving that. Now, my want goal, they were very different. My want goal was I wanted my kids in private education ASAP. And here's the thing, even though before Forever, I was going through a bad divorce, I was financially broke, I was in a really bad place, I'd always wanted my kids in private education. This had always been a goal. But I kind of locked the goal away because I always thought, because I'm in a job, and I get X amount each month in my job, I don't know if I'm ever going to achieve that goal, but it was always there. So when I really got the vision of the marketing model, my entrepreneurial spirit, which I truly believe I'd always had, kicked in, and I thought, I can do this. I can totally and utterly do this. So on August the 13th, 1993, when I joined the business, my need was 2,000 a month. My want was 2 boys into top private schools in the UK. September the 3rd, 1994, both boys were in top fee-paying schools, fully paid for by Forever. That's the power of goal setting, underpinned by a work ethic, a desire, and an amazing attitude, and embracing the fact that you are in control of your life, you're an entrepreneur, and this business, if you work it properly, will deliver on all levels. Now, for it to deliver on all levels, as an entrepreneur, you need to be disciplined. And discipline means that you need to be focused on activity. You can't do a bit one day and nothing the next day. You can't do a bit for a week and then nothing for a month. You can't go all out massive action for 2 months, then do nothing for 6 months. I would rather work with somebody who is consistent every day with a little bit of activity than somebody who comes in, goes crazy for a month, and then there's nothing for 6 months. This is about your personal discipline and understanding daily activity and not procrastinating on that daily activity. Because if you procrastinate, it will affect your income. If you're not disciplined, you won't see success. And another key tip that I can give you right now is the quicker that you can achieve a goal, success, some kind of success, whether it's I've just made my first £200 or I've just made my first £500 or I've just had my first promotion, that's when people start watching you. That's when people start taking you seriously. Because when you can share success, people are curious about how you did it. Because the sad reality is, in this weird world that we live in right now, there are a lot of people waiting for you to fail. So they can say to you, never mind, they're there, it's okay, come back into our world where we're broke, we're unhappy, we're miserable, we complain, we criticize, and we condemn. You don't want to be in that world. We're entrepreneurs and we're achievers. So quickly work towards a goal that allows you to show some success, because this is very, very intriguing for those that are watching you, following you, listening to you, and engaging with you. I said it before, I'll say it again. As an entrepreneur, we have to take full responsibility for our businesses. Now, that doesn't mean to say you have to work in isolation. You have an amazing group of people around you to support you. You have your sponsor, you have an upline manager, you have a team, you have the company, you have a whole host of people to help and support you. But here's the key. Don't wait for them to tell you what to do, to advise you what to do, to show you what to do. Have a go. Have a go. Roll your sleeves up and start talking about the products. Get that list done. Get your first few profiles done. Start reaching out to a few people, tentatively just saying, I've got something I want to share with you. Then work with your upline to put that plan in place. You know, I love it when I'm working with people that when I review their activity on a daily or bi-daily basis, they say, Jane, I've spoken to someone today, they want to know if we can do a one-to-one. Jane, I've sold a C9 today. You know, I'm working with a couple of phenomenal people right now, and every day when I talk to them, every day they've done something and they're not waiting for me to do it for them. That's the spirit of an entrepreneur. And from a coaching point of view, it makes your job, my job, 100% easier to coach on productivity rather to coach on inactivity. So as an entrepreneur, we take responsibility alongside being coached the system that we work, which is around the first steps to manager. Here's a big one as an entrepreneur. Learn how to handle the word no. Gosh, you know, I've done whole half-day seminars on this. You know, I've spoken in Vegas, I've spoken on the world stage on how to handle the word no, how the word no impacts you, how it makes you feel, how it steals your dreams, how it can steal your journey in forever. And I won't go into all of that right now, I don't have the time. But one of the things you truly have to understand is no is only no today. It's not a no next week, next month, or even next year, but it's just a no today. So in the early days when somebody said no to me, oh my goodness, I would take it so personally. I would get very emotionally upset. I would come home, I'd want to disembowel myself with a blunt spoon in the garden. I felt horrendous. But I learned through my own activity that actually sometimes when people say no, it's because right now the timing isn't right. And so if somebody says no to me today, all I say is, hey Chris, thanks for that. I truly appreciate your honesty. And I understand the timing isn't right for you at the moment. However, I'd love to work with you. You've got an amazing personality, you're phenomenal with people, your work ethic is inspirational. And I truly believe that working together, we can achieve some phenomenal results in this amazing company. So whilst the timing isn't good for you now, can I get back in touch with you in a couple of months' time, keep you updated on what's going on, and who knows, it might be time to have a coffee or a session online then. And interestingly, they go, yes, that's fine. So the no has been turned into a yes. So you need to learn to handle the no's, because if you don't, what will happen is you'll start off with a flurry of excitement, you'll make all those calls or send all those messages or engage with all those people very excitedly for the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then suddenly you begin to lose a bit of energy, you'll begin to lose a bit of presence, you'll begin to lose a bit of your enthusiasm as you get rejected and people say no, and suddenly you step back a bit, do a little less activity, you step back a bit, do a little less activity, and before you know it, you're not doing anything other than using and selling the product. And that's great, you can earn a few £100 a month, but you'll never scale to the bigger incomes. So understand, every one of us, even Lisa, who sponsored 20 people in the month of June, to sponsor those 20 people, I will guarantee you that she will have had hundreds of no's. Because you don't sponsor 20 people just by going, yes, let me speak to 20 people, they're all going to join. So you have to learn how to handle that word no. And we've heard it before already today, you have to learn how to handle your disappointment. You know, it's amazing, this roller coaster of emotions that we go on in the early days of building a business. You know, you're so super excited about everything, and then when something doesn't pan out or doesn't bear a result, we get a bit despondent. You know, and I can remember as if it were yesterday, you know, I was building a business. We had a meeting in Stony Stratford and I'd reserved all the front row. There was 5 seats that I reserved for my guests. I put my business cards on and I was a bit sort of full of myself, strutting around, and it was 10 to 8 and the room was filling up and nobody had arrived of my guests, and all the other chairs were filling up, and suddenly the front row was empty. It was 5 to 8. And I reluctantly had to go and take my cards off the seats, feeling a little bit sort of, oh my goodness, no one look at me because none of my guests had turned up. And then somebody else came and sat on the front row, but they weren't my guests. And I went home that night and I was a bit dejected and I was a bit down and a bit disappointed. And you know, it wasn't until the next day when I got up, when a friend called me and said, Jane, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it last night. You know, my son wasn't very well, sorry. You know, I did leave a message, but obviously you didn't get it. You know, we didn't have text messages or anything then. And then another friend called me and apologized for not showing up. The other 3 didn't. But suddenly my energy was up again. Great, those 2 people are still interested. Now, what happens if you don't learn to manage your disappointment, as Chris said? You will have these ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. If you're not careful, will actually spoil your journey. If you have disappointment, if a launch doesn't go ahead, if someone returns the product, if a new FBO decides they don't want to do it, if you plan for a new supervisor this month and they miss it by 8 CCCs, plan it for next month. In other words, pick yourself up, rub yourself down, get back on the game. Because an entrepreneur does not wallow in disappointment and self-pity. They get up and they get back on the playing field, and that's what you need to do. You need to be healthily competitive. In other words, you need to make sure that you're challenging yourself all the time to be the best version you can and to see where you can take yourself. Do not settle for average. Do not settle for mediocrity. Have a healthy competition. Look at people you admire and say, how can I build a business like them? Look at people that are doing great things right now and say, how can I do what they do? Be healthily competitive. Be willing to experience failure. Oh my goodness, I've had many times over the last 26 years where I've set a huge goal and have not quite achieved it. But what I've learned on the way to that goal has set me up to achieve it and more the following year. So you need to understand you have to experience some kind of challenge and failure to be able to move on to the great heights in this business. You know, there are so many points that I could run through, but I know that I'm short on time right now. But the entrepreneurial spirit, I guess I can sum it up like this. As an entrepreneur, you're not in this business part-time, you're not in this business full-time. You're in this business all the time because this is your future and this is your purpose. When you join Forever, if you want to be really successful, you need to give yourself 100% completely to the product, to the opportunity, to the marketing model, to your goals, and to doing whatever needs to be done to achieve them. Because if you don't, you'll do okay, but you'll never ever actually get to the great heights. And some people say to me, you know, Jane, why are you still doing what you're doing? You've achieved everything. And I have achieved everything that Forever has to offer. And I say, well, you know, there comes a time when you're not driven by the money. And trust me, I'm not going to send the money back. But you're driven by taking everything that you've learned and imparting it onto those that are deadly serious about wanting to change their lives. And the joy of seeing other people grow and shine and step into their own brilliance and change and become happy and fulfilled is the real reward in this business when you've got everything else covered. And any entrepreneur will tell you that. You know, if you look at all the most successful people in all walks of life, they're all multi-millionaires, billionaires, not driven by the money, but driven by the difference that they can make. And when you get to that point, let me tell you, this is a magical journey. So don't count the hours. I really want to emphasize this. You know, a lot of people are building this business around kids, homeschooling, around existing jobs, around challenging times right now. But the one thing that I never did when I started in Forever, and I started part-time around the kids and around full-time work commitments, I never had a part-time mentality. Never, ever. I always had a full-time mentality. In other words, I never counted the hours. I never said, well, I've got 10 hours a week and I'm going to compartmentalize my business into those hours. I would do whatever I had to do in all of the time that I had spare. And I even gave up other commitments in order to make time to work my Forever business. Because remember, the quicker that you can achieve some kind of success, the quicker that you become very interesting to other people. And then I guess to kind of top all this off, keep everything really simple. Many people have said this to you a lot of times today. Keep everything simple. Don't overcomplicate it. We use a great product. Use it all the time. Show people that you're using it. Take it everywhere with you. You know, make reference to it. Be proud of it. Hold it high and be proud. You know, it's just the most incredible product. I couldn't imagine not having these products in our home. So use the product. Share the product with other people. You know, I'm not the biggest retailer in Forever. Oh my goodness, when I hear some of you, you know, some of you that have spoken today, Emma Smith, I mean, you inspire me with your retail capabilities, but retail the product. You know, these products are quite life-changing to people, but keep it really simple. Talk about the product. Ask questions that lead you into conversations about the product. Look after your customer, nurture them, care for them. Give them the kind of service they're never going to get in the high street, probably ever again. And then you need to sponsor as if your life depends on it. and you need to do that consistently. You know, Lisa is an amazing example of what's possible when you put a lot of effort for a couple of months into having a month of recruiting 20 people. And I think it's absolutely admirable what Lisa has done. And there's no however, because all of us can do that. But you know, when you're starting out in the business brand new, if I give you some idea of what I did in my first year, I recruited 3 people every single month. 3 people a month. And that allowed me at the end of that year to have developed 5 managers and to have earned my first £42,000 royalty income. And then I just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. So it's all about the consistency in what you do. So I don't want any of you looking at Lisa and going, oh, she's amazing, but I couldn't do what she does. Because any one of you can when you've learned all the skill sets needed. What I want all of you to do is say, right, I'm going to start by recruiting 2 a month, then I want to get a 3, then I want to get a 4. I want to manage that and see how it goes from there. And once you get your head around all of that, you'll see the results come. We went supervisor in 5 weeks, and that was quite simply with me taking the box everywhere, sharing the products with absolutely every single person that I knew, every single person that I could get in front of. Everywhere I went, I took my box, I put it on their kitchen table, then I'd say nothing. And before long, they'd go, what's in the box? And the minute they said, what's in the box, that was them saying to me, I give you permission to show me, rather than me going into their homes and opening the box and saying, you need to take a look at this. So that worked for me. But by the end of those 5 weeks, I realized that if I wanted my business to grow, then I had to start recruiting people. And so I went to work recruiting people. The first person I recruited, it was so funny. I gave her a call. She was actually someone that John knew, and she used to be working in IT, so a lot of data entry. And I remember going to see her, and when I went into her house, I put the box on the table. Before I'd even opened my mouth, she said to me, Jane, is that aloe? And I said, yes, it is. She said, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm in. What do I need to do? And it was like, I don't really know what you need. And I was so thrown by this, I'm in, tell me what I need to do. And I remember going home and doing a happy dance around the kitchen, and we got a paperwork filled and got the box, and I said to John, oh, this is a piece of cake. I said, we're going to be diamond managers within 12 months at this rate. What I didn't realise is the next 20 or 30 people I spoke to, they all said no, and they all gave me really strong reasons why they thought I was mad, I was crazy, it would never work, get a real job, do this, do that, do the other. Remember, other people's opinions don't pay your bills. So that was a really interesting situation to live through. However, it didn't stop us, and we literally worked ourselves crazy with Forever. You know, I got up earlier before the kids were up. I went to bed later. You know, I turned off the TV. We stopped reading the papers. We stopped doing some of our hobbies. And within 14 weeks, we'd achieved the position of manager. And I have to say, in those early days, I think I was ignorance on fire. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you grow and develop. And there was my success story. And once I had that success story, all sorts of things began to happen. So, you know, one of the things that it sort of made me realize as I began to achieve the results was that I can do this. And that's another reason why I want you to get some success, because the minute you get success, it validates your decision that when you join Forever, you made a good decision. So I began to realize that not only can I do this, but I can take people with me. And there are 3 stages of working with people in this business, and these are quite important, and I want you to understand them. When you first work with a brand new FBO, they are very dependent on you. They are very dependent for you coaching them the key skill sets. And those are very simple: how to use the product and use more of it, how to do some launches, how to do some experience packs, how to do a clean 9. They need that support, and they're dependent on you to give them the guidance either on a one-to-one or via training or via some online tutorials. They also need to learn how to recruit, so they need to learn how to do a list, the importance of the list, how to expand that list, how to profile, how to engage with people, what to say, how to answer the most commonly asked questions. They're very independent on you for all of this, what I call early activity in their forever business. And I always say the first 90 days are vital. The first 90 days with a brand new FBO, they are quite dependent on you. And this is normal. And this is where you need to show them what to do, not just tell them, you need to show them, you need to work with them. You need to drive their businesses by thinking for them, by thinking bigger for them, by helping them plan their daily, weekly, monthly activity. This is down to you and you driving that energy and that passion. Now, as they become to supervisor, assistant manager, and manager, they become interdependent. And interdependency is brilliant. I love this stage. This stage is where they're retailing products and they don't need your input anymore. This is where their personal CCs are growing, and they're growing through their own activity, their own focus, their own energy, their own activity. Of course, you're planning it all with them, but they don't need you to do launches anymore. This interdependency is a phenomenal stage, but it's a stage where you still need to be working very, very closely with them. And what you're doing is you're expanding their thinking. You're expanding their thinking to, even though they're not yet a manager, you're talking about Eagle. Even though they're not yet a manager, you're probably talking about structure, and structure is so important. You know, I think it was Catherine, or maybe it was somebody else that said, I've got my 5 people in place now. I'm going to give you some advice. You've never just got 5 people in place. You've got 5 people now, but you're always looking for the next 5 and the next 5 and the next 5. Because if you're working with 5 key people today, that could be brilliant, but next week one of them could drop out and you've only got 4. So I always think it should be 5 underpinned by 5, underpinned by 5, underpinned by 5, underpinned by 5, and then you're a diamond, because you only need 25 to go diamond. So if you work in chunks of 5 by 5 by 5, you'll fly through the marketing model. And then we get to the heady heights of being independent. And when you have taken a new FBO from dependency to interdependency, to being independent, a freestanding, successful home-based business, that is when you feel really, really good. And your role with that manager, that person going forward, changes a lot. Now they're doing all the core key skills themselves, and what you're doing is you are taking them on the next level of personal growth and development, structuring for maximizing the profit centers for manager and beyond, with Eagle, with chairman's bonus, and also with the GEM Eagle status as well. And so it's such an ongoing journey of working with each other through all the different levels. You also need to focus on those key habits. And the key habits, you know, as Lisa said, every single day you're talking to people. And just to sum up key habits really boil down to knowing your stats. Knowing your stats. You need to know how many people you need to speak to every single day to get someone to have a one-to-one or accept a video. You need to know how many people that you do one-to-ones with to get somebody onto a business presentation. You need to know how many people that you need to take to a BP to recruit. You need to know how many people you need to recruit to break a supervisor. And rule of thumb, for every 25 people that you speak to, average, and everybody's averages are different, but average, for every 25 you speak to, 12 will agree to take information. Of those 12, you'll have 2 to 3 people that will want one-to-one and BP. From those 2 to 3, you'll sponsor 1 to 2 people. So once you know your stats and you've got them running nicely, that means that your key habits are all on point. And it will take you 3 months of focused activity to get your stats in place. And when I'm working with anybody, I always say to them, you know, it takes 4 to 8 weeks to put the business into momentum, the next 4 weeks to begin to see the results. So at the end of that 90 days, we will have your stats in place. And once we've got them in place, once you say to me, Jane, for every 17 I speak to, I recruit 1, then I say, this is phenomenal. now we can begin to scale the business, and we can chip away at improving you to get you down to 1 in 15, 1 in 12, 1 in 8, 1 in 5. Who knows what your stats can be? Lisa's stats are off the wall at the moment. So knowing your stats are really, really, really important. So here we are, I'm at the end of my presentation. And I know that I've rushed it a little. I know that maybe I haven't embellished some of the points that are really, really important. But I hope I've given you an overview of some of the key things that we need to focus on in order not only to go on the forever journey, but to go on our own personal journey of becoming the best version that you can be in this business. And, you know, I think back to my early days in Forever when I was on a horse every day or sheep farming. And they weren't difficult, they weren't unpleasant days. I mean, you know, they always say once a farmer, always a farmer. And I'm very privileged now, I you know, where I live and what I've got. But I never want to go back to those days. They were hard work. But there's always still a little bit of farmer in me. You know, I love jumping on the back of a horse and going for a ride. And when my neighbours are lambing, I love going to the lambing sheds. But when I look back on those moments, the latter parts of my farming years, they were very tough times for me. You know, no money, bad divorce, not able to provide for the family. They were tough, tough moments. And not entirely, the 18 months where it was really bad, not entirely happy. But I had a really, real surreal moment the other day. And, you know, I've gone from that horrible, horrible house that I rented where it had hot and cold running walls, no heating, had a fireplace where I could have a log fire, but it was horrible. And this is, you can't even see the whole barn. There's half of it is still, it's not on the picture, it's so big. But this is where we live now. And it's, you know, I look at it now and it even gets me emotional. But the other day we had, I let the land here. We've got 50 acres of land and the house sits in the middle of the 50 acres. And we've got another house in the grounds that my dad lives in. And it's absolutely, truly beautiful. And I let the land and I let it to a local farmer and he's got sheep all over the land. And, you know, a few weeks ago they were lambing and they were turning the ewes and lambs out in the field that surrounds the barn. And I noticed that there was a problem with the ewe and the lamb. And straight away I went into farming mode. And I pulled my boots on, you know, jumped on the quad, went across the field and I picked up this lamb and I put it back with its mum. I got it suckling and just for a moment I was back in that period 26, 27 years ago when I was farming for a living. And all of the hurt and the struggle and the pain just flooded back to me. And it was such an emotional, weird feeling. And as I stood up and I walked away from the ewe and the lamb and I looked to the house, I just stopped for a moment. And I just thought, you know, it's been the most incredible journey. Sorry, it gets me really emotional. You know, because of saying one word 26 years ago, and that word was yes. For saying that word and being committed to this business, taken myself from living a life of misery and poverty to living a life of fulfillment and freedom. And it's been hard work. I can tell you it's been really, really hard work and not without its ups and downs and challenges and frustrations. And when I looked at the house and then I looked back at the ewe and I thought, my God, life could have been very different. What if my friend hadn't called me? What if I hadn't gone to meet him? What if John and I hadn't said yes to the business? What if we had walked by it? What would my life be then? So I guess my point to each and every one of you is, you've all said yes, but I need you to reconnect with a bigger yes. I need you to throw away the mentality of, I'm going to give it a try, I'm going to give it a go, I'll give it 12 months, I'll see if it will work. I want you to commit 100% wholly, heart, body and soul to Forever. Because over the last 42 years in over 160 countries around the world, it's never failed anybody, it's never let anybody down. The only people that have failed are those that have quit and walked away and blamed Forever for their failure rather than be big enough to look in the mirror and say, I didn't do it. I didn't take it seriously. I didn't learn the skills. Actually, it was my fault. Because forever changes lives. Because of saying yes all those years ago, we have now over 1 million people in our team. We have a business in over 40 countries around the world. We drive beautiful cars, second home in the south of France. We have a charity in Malawi where we've given fresh water, we've built a maize mill, we've got a school program, we've built a medical centre. Because when you have plenty, you've got to give back to those less fortunate. And that has been a humbling experience, looking after those that live on nothing. And we're very blessed to have been able to maximise the full potential of this opportunity. And we've only been allowed to do that because we have helped so many other people achieve their goals, that everything that we wanted to achieve has come to be. So in closing, I would just like to say that the biggest adventure that you can ever take yourselves on is to be committed to living the life of your dreams. To not looking left, to not looking right, to putting the blinkers on and learning all you need to learn to be successful in forever and to be free, because forever will never fail you. It's the most incredible opportunity. So thanks very much for listening today. Have a phenomenal rest of the weekend, and let's have the most awesome end of year with every brand new person on this call today planning to be manager by the end of the year and going into next year, scaling your income and being completely free in the way that you live your lives and safe in this weird world that we're living in right now. Thank you very much.
Hi, Jane. Thank you so much. What a complete inspiration. And, you know, to hear your story, and it's been a privilege to watch your story, you know, and I look back when we met, you've been in forever, just under 5 years. You were in that rented, not in the first rented house, but you're in a rented house, and everything you've talked about, your whole journey, and to have seen you change, seen you grow. You know, people see Jane Leach, Diamond Manager, and think you were just born like that. I know, I remember. I won't share all those tales, but
I don't do that.
You really do walk the walk, talk the talk, and that is why you are such an inspiration. And you'll see on the chat, the messages are flooding in, so I'll let you read them, but say a huge thank you for your time, for your journey, for your complete inspiration.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Chris. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. So don't forget, we have our final winners to announce. Just before I do that, Jane's still with me.
Hold on. It's me, sorry. Technology. There we go.
There you go. You don't need to be 100% at technology to be a Diamond Manager, obviously. What can I say? So, yeah, don't forget, we've got our final winners to be announced. Just before I do that, I just wanted to really just pull things together really quickly. Firstly, to say a huge thank you to all our speakers for the time that they put in to produce their presentations, to getting out of their comfort zone, and getting over their nerves in order to share with you. And I think it's been completely inspirational to hear so many messages over and over again from the individual speakers that are the same message. These presentations are put together individually, and so to see that crossover, I think just reinforces the things that are most important in Forever. The importance of having that goal, that big goal. People are attracted to a big goal, so it's about having those needs and wants. That Forever is a system, first steps to manager. We hold that system in our hands, and to everything that we need to know to build a business is in the first steps to manager. The importance of a retail strategy and a recruiting strategy, and that weekly plan. Again, I'll reiterate, top tip, Sunday night, great time to have that weekly plan in place. It's about consistent activity, about understanding there is that leading time, and about marrying the process and divorcing the result. It's about building relationships, relationships that will lead to customers, relationships that will lead to new FBOs. And if we come from contribution, if we go out there with a willingness to help people with their health or with their income, then you will be successful. Yes, it's about 5 key people. What is a key person? Well, it's someone whose activity matches what they talk about. You know, talk is cheap, as the old saying goes. But I wasted so much time wanting it for other people, deciding that I'd found a key person and yet their activity didn't match. You can't do this for somebody else. So ask yourself consistently on a weekly basis, is this key person still a key person? We've heard lots about the simplicity of the business, but it is about taking responsibility and about being willing to change, willing to change our thinking. We change our thinking, we change our actions. We change our actions, we change our results. But it all comes from changing our thinking. And when I look back, when my business wasn't growing as quickly as I wanted to, when I could see other people were having greater success, that was the point where I had to look in the mirror and accept that if I wanted success, if I wanted my life to be different, I was going to have to change and take responsibility for that change. And most importantly, it's about doing the work. It's about, there's nothing for nothing in life. If there was, it would be a very strange place. You have to put the work in order to achieve the results. And all the people you've heard from today are putting the work in. That's why they've been sharing their activities with us. So if we do the same, follow the system, then success will too be ours. So what an amazing morning. And to finish off, we have some prize winners. So the next people receiving a free hydrating serum are Neil Shepherd, Donna Ahern, Laurie Watson, Amara Campbell, and Rena Mystery. I've just read those out before. Sorry, I'm on my wrong message. The next lot winning, by the way, you're not getting 2, guys. So the next winners are Natasha Powell, Mish Clark, Kay Balcaran, Ghazala Banani, and Emma Burns. You're winning a hydrating serum. And the overall winner of the entire targeted skincare range, boy, is this a great weekend for you. That goes to Sona Sethi. So well done, enjoy. Don't forget, guys, to all claim your prizes by emailing the events team. I gave the email out early. Go onto the Facebook events page. I'm sure it'll be there too. So thank you for a great morning. Thanks for sticking with us through the morning. I know you've got lots to take in. So most importantly, let's go back, read our notes, apply what we've learnt, and put that strategy in place to make sure we absolutely smash 2020 and remember it, not because of that dire virus that hit us this year, but because it turned our business round and turned our forever journey round so that we go into 2021 reaping the rewards. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Bye for now.